Hello, welcome to Fantastic Dimensions. We're doing something a little different today. We're going to play test a system and investigation that was sent to me by Venger Satanis in one of the Call of Cthulhu Google Plus communities. So he's got a very simple rules light system in here that we're going to be testing out as we play through this adventure. So just real quick, I'll let you guys each just tell me who your character is and introduce yourselves if you wish. So we'll start with Marquise.
Hi everyone, I'm Marquise Hardis on the channel Typical Strider. Today I'm playing the character Tommy Washington. He is an investigative detective and a member of the Black Panthers. And that is it.
Cool. Lloyd.
Hello, I'm Lloyd. I run the channel LDM, and I'll be playing Professor Duncan Steele, a professor of cryptozoology and possibly a racist.
Okay. Chepe.
Hello, I am Chip Lepepe. My channel is Spontrod, and I am playing Ricky McGuffins, master of all things radio broadcasting and advertising, voiceover announcer, reader of short stories, and provider of many wonderful arts to the good people across Massachusetts. That's right.
Excellent. And Andrew.
Hi, I'm Andrew Speaks with Animals Nap, aka SR2 Joker. Check me out on Loshank's blog, check out the W3, the OSG, yada yada yada. I'm going to be playing Flips McKenzie, U.S. Marshal, fighting the commie bastard since '51, tracking down subversives and doing an okay job while I'm at it, might I add.
Excellent. This is going to be great. Okay. So you guys have all been invited to attend a Professor Henry Bile at Miskatonic University. You all have some kind of contact with him through the university in the past. He's a professor of archaeology, since you all live and work mostly around Arkham. So yeah, he basically has just invited you to come talk to him at the university and said something about an expedition to a wild and exotic land. So as you arrive to his office, it's a rather small office, really piles of papers and magazines and stuff up on his desk. He's currently smoking a cigarette and drinking a half-cold cup of coffee. When he sees you come in, he says, "Oh, good, good. I'm glad you're all here." He says, "I want to send you all to New Guinea."
New Guinea?
Yes, New Guinea. There's apparently been some kind of great discovery there, and the doctor in charge has requested, he's requested another team of archaeologists, anthropologists, and explorers to help him study it.
New Guinea? I straighten my tie like a wise guy. What's wrong with the old one?
I'm sorry, I don't follow you, Flips. What's that?
Next time I'll lay down some signs for you.
Right, yes, signs. Very good. Just make sure they're printed nice and clearly. No handwriting. So, anyway, Dr. Steiner, he's the head of the anthropology department here at the university. You've probably seen some of his contributions to Culturally Speaking, the weekly anthropology or the quarterly anthropology journal. No.
I've seen them.
Right. Very good.
Not impressed, personally.
Well, maybe you may be impressed with some of his current work if the reports coming in are to be believed. He went on an expedition to study the Meepi tribe in New Guinea. He had a few people along with him. He had Vanessa Hargrave, Zachary Stevenson, and a couple of students, Elliot Richelieu and Jasper Johnson. They supposedly have made some really good scientific discoveries about the Meepi people, but they also may have come across some treasure and adventure of their own. It seems that they've discovered some kind of an ancient temple referred to as Nafu Ata. Steiner has alluded to it having many, many secrets, but he's never gone into great details about it. He says he needs more people for a second expedition. Apparently a couple of a few actually of his previous members have, they've no longer been able to work with him. Vanessa and Jasper have gone missing, and apparently Dr. Stevenson has met with some unfortunate demise in the jungle.
Sounds ominous.
Yeah, Dr. Harrison has been collecting the telegrams. If you want to pop in there and see some of the things that came in, but
I'm going to remove a cigarette from my inside jacket pocket and kind of nod at you, stick it in and light it up. You had me at secrets. We got to get in there and get them secrets before the commies do. You don't want to see what happens if we lose that war.
Just
no,
as soon. Now, let me get this straight here, Sonny. You're telling me that we're going out in the middle of Papua New Guinea and we're going to find ourselves some secrets?
Yeah, just think of the exclusive. You can bring some of your recording equipment along with you.
Now, how many people did you say died?
Well, just Dr. Stevenson that I'm aware of, but apparently Miss Hargrave and Mr. Johnson have gone missing.
Oh, good, missing people. A couple. Perfect. Great scoop.
These meepy, are they primitives?
Oh, yes, quite primitive.
Fascinating.
They were the original purpose of the first expedition, was simply to study the tribe and learn some of their ways, but apparently they've discovered this great temple.
You're picking up something, Dr. Steele?
Well, my reading has led me to believe that lots of these primitive tribes engage in cannibalism. I wonder if our friend came to some sort of grisly end.
You mean at the end of a dinner fork?
Yes, that's exactly what I mean.
More like the end of a spear. Hope you get my point.
See, that's why I like you, Mr. McGuffins. What do you think of all this, Tommy? Would you be interested?
Well, Tommy's been sitting there in the corner kind of smoking a cigarette, eyeing specifically Dr. Steele. And then he looks to the professor. Not really my type of thing, but I suppose I could do it if the pay is good.
Well, the pay is promised to be better than your usual monthly salary anyway, so, and that's discounting the fact that you may find any extremely valuable treasures or anything within this temple, of course.
Now,
But
question.
you're guaranteed at least a minimum pay to more than compensate for your loss of work during the time period.
And he kind of, he beckons to the other three that are in the room, and he says, so, why exactly do they got to be sent on this shindig, too?
Well, he's requested a whole team of people, not just one.
I mean, if you just ask me directly, I could pull some strings for you, get you a whole host of Panthers in here instead of these Klansmen, sheet-wearing pieces of...
Whoa, Tommy. I assure you, none of these gentlemen are Klansmen. They're all fine, upstanding men with associations with the university. Isn't that right, Mr. Steele?
So Mr. Steele just looks witheringly towards Mr. Washington. That's quite right.
See?
I don't like how you... Go ahead.
Don't look at me, Tommy. Last sheet I wore was your wife's. And I slow blow smoke right out at you.
First, I'm looking to steal, and I open my mouth to say something because of how you're looking at me, but then this motherfucker white man over here says something. I drop my cigarette, stomp, and I say, you say one more goddamn thing about my wife, last thing you say. You want me to work with this trash?
Don't mind Flips. He's just got a crazy sense of humor. He's quite zany, aren't you, Mr. McKenzie?
Yeah, zany. And I blow again at him.
You blow that smoke in my face one more motherfucking again, I want to punch you right in your jaw.
This man is a loose cannon. Why are we taking him with us? What skills are you bringing, Mr. Washington?
I'm the best.
Hey reporter, get your pad ready. This professor's about to get schooled.
And I look at Duncan Steele and I'm like, first off, I'm the best motherfucking investigator that this town's ever produced. Second off, I've helped demand the professor here countless more times than I'm sure you have. Third off, I got connections all the way to the top with me and my fellow brothers, the Panthers. Fourth off, and he pulls back his coat, and you see his gun right there. I'm the meanest shot you'll ever see, and your friend over here is about to learn it in a second if he blows that goddamn cigarette in my face again.
That's a nice pea shooter you got there, son. But let me introduce you to my friends, and I part my jacket. You know them, Smith, Wesson, and I revealed the 40 that federal marshals wear on their hip.
At this point, Professor Bile is like sweating profusely. He gets up and he says, "Gentlemen, please, let's let's not get off on the wrong foot. I don't want to have anybody shooting anybody in my office after all. Perhaps you guys can carry on this conversation, en route to the hotel. I've sprung rooms for all of you. Well, two actually. You'll have to say two to a room, but the flight leaves tomorrow afternoon."
Two to a room?
Well, there's two beds. Don't worry. I wouldn't expect you to share a bed, man.
Did make sure to get the motel with the special shampoo, right? He greases back as a.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I'll have to look into that for you there, Riggy. Sorry.
Gotta be sure it's important.
Anyway, I really have to finish these papers, so if you're all agreeable to the job, then, he tells you the name of some hotel down the road, and he says a driver will collect you there the next day in the late morning to take you down to the airport. It's a two-stop flight. You'll have to fly to Los Angeles and then change planes and then fly on there to New Guinea.
Before we leave, I'll say to him, Henry, do you think this is related to that thing that happened in the heart of Africa?
Oh, the ziggurat thing? No, I don't think so.
I've got a bad feeling about it.
Oh, if it's definitely one of that, then I got myself a fantastic story. You're gonna make me a killing, Dr. Steele. Gonna make me a killing.
If it's anything like that, Mr. McGuffin, the only thing you're in for is a long and painful death.
Please, call me Riggy.
Then I'll sweep out of the room dramatically.
You white people always being dramatic and shit, and I follow them out.
You know, Mr. Washington, bad language is also often a substitute for a low vocabulary.
Lynching people often shows ignorance, so I mean, we both have our flaws, don't we?
I've never lynched a man.
As they leave, Riggy says, "Hey guys, where you going? Don't leave me hanging."
As I go to leave, I see the good professor's bookcase, and I notice that there's a little red book on it, and I trace it as I walk out the door with my finger. Make sure your pleasure reading doesn't spill over into any serious thought.
Okay. Is there anything else you guys want to do around the university? You don't have to leave for the airport till the next day.
I'll just take some stuff out of my office, some important things I've acquired over my many years of being a professor of weird stuff.
Mm-hmm.
There's a particular knife that I took from a certain ziggurat, so I'll take that. It's kind of wickedly curved. I'll just take that and make sure I have it on me, just in case.
Okay.
Is there like a library I could go to?
Oh yeah, there's extensive libraries here on the university. They've got a lot of. It's known for having the largest source of basically occult knowledge, probably in the civilized world, if not in the world in general. Deep down in the vaults of the university, although you need special security access to get down there, they're even said to have a full English version of the Necronomicon, but none of you have the access to get down there.
All that doesn't really mean too much to me. I want to go and I want to see if I can just pick out books that have to do with the pygmies and the area we're going to and everything. Trying to get a feel for the area we're going to, do some light reading on it before I head out.
Sure. You also, as you're going down there, you do pass Dr. Harrison's office, where Henry had mentioned the telegrams from the first expedition had been collected. It's open and empty at the moment. The doctor seems to have stepped out for his lunch break.
You know, being the investigator that I am, sometimes I gotta do things that are a bit less legal than other things. So, despite the fact that I don't have a warrant or anything, I'm just gonna slide myself right into that office and start going through the desk papers and everything, looking for anything relating to the situation at hand.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, you find a stack of telegrams from Dr. Steiner. One of them says, basically, just as a tragedy struck this morning, Dr. Stevenson met his death in the jungle. He was killed by the jungle. Sorry. Then you go through a few more boring little just kind of situation reports, things about the Meepy people. You do notice from reading Dr. Steiner's comments on the Meepy tribe anyway that he seems to be he has a very supremacist attitude towards them. He sees them as being extremely primitive and,
Damn right.
just the language that he uses and stuff towards them, it kind of looks at them as subhuman. He makes mention in one how they treat him like a god, and he can just basically do anything he wants with them, sometimes making them fight each other for sport. Says he's had his way with several of their women.
Tommy is disgusted reading this. He's just going like, what the hell are these people? I just keep on flipping through, and I start seeing all the reports and the things he's done to these people. And I kind of just like, I slam the papers into the ground, and I reach into my pocket, and I pull out my pick, my black fist power pick, and start picking out my fro. I'm just like, these people in some dark shit. Is there anything else that he would see that he would go through, or would it be like?
There's another telegram there that says, got into the temple today. Jasper couldn't handle it, ran off screaming into the jungle. Probably won't be back. Can't wait to see more. Then flipping down through a little bit further, there's another one that says, Vanessa's gone this morning. Not sure what happened to her. Maybe the same as Jasper. And then you find the last telegram that you find. It has like a post-it note kind of thing stuck on it. It says, holy crap, do not show this to Henry Byle or anyone else. Probably better burn this, sooner the better. And it is also from Dr. Steiner, and it says, I must become one with the thing living in Nafuata, whatever it may be, deliciously loathsome, exquisitely hideous, and awe-inspiringly depraved. It's within reach, yet somehow keeps me at bay. I must have more men.
Tommy holds this in his hands, and he says under his breath, Mother sweet Jesus. And he starts folding it up, and he slides it into his pocket. And he takes actually the other telegrams that were talking about what happened to everyone else, too. And his face is really pale. He actually looks like, he's like seen a ghost or something. Because Tommy does not like ghost stories, doesn't like scary things, scary movies, Predator, all that stuff. It basically scares the ever-loving shit out of him. So, like, reading through all this, like, he's starting to get, he's doubting his reasons for actually joining on this mission, and with the telegrams now in his pocket, he's going to leave and find those books and do some very quick reading and everything, so he can be more prepared about what the fuck he's getting into.
Sure. Yeah, basically looking at books on the local area, the tribe, you don't turn up much, except in one book you find it makes a report of several incidents of temporal interference. So some explorers have mentioned blacking out, having episodes where they couldn't remember what had happened, short-term memory loss, etc. You find one from about 10 years ago, an account on New Guinea, and it's actually about Dr. Steiner, and he mentions that he had lost time for a while during his first expedition to New Guinea. You also find another thing about a treasure hunter who was trekking through the area of the jungle there around the Meepy tribe and swears that he saw himself in the jungle like he was looking into a mirror. And just looking at that and looking at the map and based on another map that you had seen in Harrison's office, it looks like it was very close to the place where this temple has supposedly been discovered.
all these horrifying stories, one after another, and all these weird things, and coupled with the telegrams and everything, is making Tommy sort of regret his life decision at the moment. And he's going to actually check out the book, and if they question him, he's going to flash his badge because he doesn't have a library card. So he's just going to flash his badge, take the book out the library, and he wants to drive home to go see his wife and hold his daughter, and then sleep with his wife before he goes to the hotel because this is some creepy shit, and he needs to talk to somebody about it that's not a white person.
Okay, fair enough. What about the rest of you guys?
I'm gonna go to a walk-in clinic.
Okay.
I want to see a doctor or a nurse.
Yeah, what can we do for you?
I'm going on a bit of a trip here, sweetheart, and I'm gonna need some of them vaccinations.
Oh, right. Where are you going to?
New Guinea. I hear it's not as bad as the Dark Continent, but I don't want none of that ooga booga shit. You get what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, we'll give you the usual inoculations, and so they give you a cocktail of shots basically, protect you from things like malaria, dengue fever. You know, they give you one that say that it should help you with the digestive discomforts you'll get from drinking the local water. You know.
So they shoot me up good.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So I'm feeling a little bit wobbly when I get off my feet. Ooh, got a little bit of a seasickness. Thank you, sweetheart. Give her a tip of the hat. Walk to the front desk and make my payments.
Yep, no problem. You get a discounted rate being a marshal.
Yeah, I do. I make sure it comes up in the most nonchalant way possible. Like I lean over the desk and my badge falls off of my lapel. Oh, sorry about that. My U.S. Marshal badge. I'm a U.S. Marshal, you know.
Wow, geez, you get a special rate today.
That's what I'm talking about. But what I want to know, and I kind of trace on the table with my finger, is if you have a very special rate, like a super special.
Well, I mean, you know, I can just give you this standard kind of discount rate. Is there something else you were looking for?
Knowing that I'm going to be going back to a hotel for the night, and I'm going to be staying with one person, I don't know who, my finger traces onto her hand while it's on the counter, and I say, you gave me some shot, sweetheart, but I was hoping we could take a different type of shot we can do here on the premises, if you know what I mean.
Okay. Go ahead and roll me a d6.
All right. A 2.
I'd say you can actually roll a second d6 as well, because you probably get 2d6 in this pool. It's not something that you've never done before.
Bam! It's a 6.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. So you pull out the key and show her what room you're in or whatever, and yeah, she says she'll be there.
And another thing, maybe you have a pretty looking friend. I didn't know they made one like that, but I'm hoping they make 2, if you know what I mean.
Oh yeah, I'll bring my cousin.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
She's on the
See you
rebound,
later.
you know?
See you later, sweetheart. That's good with me. I like them rebounded. And I walk out the door.
Okay.
Cousin Gertrude, no.
What about you, Chip? Eh?
Riggs is going to make his way through the offices, hounding every professor for every bit of questions he can. Goes down to the anthropology department, asks a question, and he sees oh crap. He sees Washington leave as he's walking by, but Washington ignores him as he goes back. He walks his full way around campus asking questions, not learning anything. So finally he goes to the radio broadcast tower, because I'm assuming the university probably has its own like miniature radio broadcasting.
Oh yeah, sure.
So he makes his way up, and he wants to ask for some equipment.
Okay. Yeah, sure. Absolutely, Mr. McGuffins. You need recording equipment?
Yeah, of course. Going on a university project. Yes.
Geez, what would tape recorders have been like in the 70s, man? Those big, massive things, wouldn't they?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. They can get you one. They've even got, because, this being Miskatonic University and all, I'm sure they have some made for expeditions as well with backpack rigs and everything.
Gonna need a few. Yes, a few.
They have probably some kind of like a kinetic charger type thing for the batteries or something, wouldn't they? Backup battery as well and all that.
The thing's like this big. It's just.
Absolutely, but you're pretty famous in the area, so they're more than happy to set you up.
Well, I gotta make sure I make my way back with Washington. So he trumps out, carrying this big tote of backpack and equipment. Slicks the back of his hair. And begins to make his way down to the motel.
The only thing that you did pick up in your questions of talking to the professors around, which wasn't necessarily very relevant to what you're doing, but there was rumors, a lot of them were saying that they had heard that Vanessa Hargrave and Dr. Steiner had rekindled their affair after Dr. Steiner's divorce. And you find out that Dr. Steiner was recently divorced before he went on this expedition, that he had had a previous affair, though, with Miss Hargrave during his marriage as well. It was an on-again, off-again kind of thing.
Yes, a juicy scoop. Perfect. And he writes it all down in a little notepad that he keeps. He tucks it away in his little suit pocket.
Okay. And Dr. Steele?
Yeah, I'm good to go. I'm just packing up all my stuff and making sure I bring all the weird stuff that I found on my other previous journeys, all the strange. I'll take like a claw from what I think is a chupacabra and things like that I've worked on in my cryptozoology work. Things that I think are lucky or good omens.
Excellent. Very good. Let's see. So who's sharing a room? I'm going to say that Flips and Tommy were each given a key, and you guys can choose, just in order to make sure to keep you two separate, and you guys can choose who you want to room with.
I'm going to room with Riggy McGovern because the other one, if I room with the other two, we're not all going to be making it out of there. So
that's fair.
I was hoping you'd say that.
Okay. So Flips, the girl from the clinic, does show up with her cousin.
So I go to answer the door. Professor, what are you doing when I'm at the door?
I think very carefully folding clothes.
So being really dainty and organized.
Yeah, fastidious is a word you would use for the professor, I think.
I open up the door and I see the two broads standing there. What does the cousin look like?
She looks kind of like the other girl, only about 10 years older and 40 pounds heavier.
Whoa, you weren't talking when you said you had a cousin. You got a lot of cousin. Well, come on in, baby. I ain't talking shit. You see that man over there? He's a PhD. He's the smart ass and I'm the wise guy. It's your lucky day you get the smart ass and I push the fat one at him.
Flips, what is this?
What do you mean, what is this?
I didn't even look at the woman. I just look at him.
What do you mean, what is this? You've seen it before. You know what to do.
I'm happily married, Flips.
Happily. Doctor.
Professor.
I lean into the fat chick and I say, you're not selling yourself very well, sweetheart.
All right. She seems kind of nervous, and she looks at her. You didn't say he was married, and the cousin shrugs, and I don't know, I didn't ask. And she looks and she says, he looks kind of like a stiff too. Look at the way he's folding those clothes. says, "Nah, forget about it. I'm out of here." She says, "I'll go down to the bar. If you want to come down there and see me there, I'll see you later." And so the heavy cousin leaves.
Well, Flips, I suppose I'll leave you to some privacy.
Suit yourself, Doc. You can stick around and watch if you want. You might learn a couple things. And I grab her and pull her onto the bed in front of him.
All right. We'll leave it at that. Dr. Steele can leave or stay as he pleases.
Yeah, I'll go down to the bar probably.
Nice. Hang out with the fat cousin, console her,
Right.
made her cry.
I'll start
Okay.
talking to her about cryptozoology. I'm sure she's riveted.
Yeah. Well, you sure know how to stay loyal to your wife, anyway. So yeah, basically, then the next day, guy shows up in a van to take you to the airport. He's about 20 something. His name's Simon. He's a kind of a runner. He because he owns a van, he does lots of errands for different professors around the university. So he drives you over to the airport, and it takes you, probably takes you about a day to get there because you got to fly all the way from Massachusetts to Los Angeles, and then you got to make a transfer, and then you're going to fly on to New Guinea. I mean, it'll be the better part of a day anyway before you arrive in New Guinea. The plane ride itself is pretty relaxing. You arrive safe. There's no issues on the flight. You're met by a guy named Hector at the airport in Papua New Guinea. He's Australian. He says, right. He says, I'm going to drive you over to see Dr. Steiner. And so he's got a kind of a big, one of those big Jeep style things. You can throw your luggage in the back, and the five of you can kind of uncomfortably fit into the Jeep. Or sorry, the four of you plus him. It probably takes you a good few hours to get to this place deep kind of in the jungle where Dr. Steiner has his camp set up. When you arrive there, he's got a real fancy kind of tribal welcome for you. There's a few men on all fours with their backs straight and flat. And you see Steiner's using them as kind of a table, and he has what looks like a little bit of a tea party set up on their backs. You can also see a couple of the tribe's women making out not too far away from there. They're like basically dressed in loincloths and nothing else, and Dr. Steiner's kind of just looking on at them with a big smile on his face as you guys come walking into his camp. He says, "So, you must be the new expedition that Mr. Bile has sent for me." He says, he reaches out and gestures around at all the different meepies around. He says, "Look at how I've domesticated these barbaric savages."
Steiner, what sort of bacchanalian orgy have you got going on here?
Huh. You think this is bad? You should have seen what they were like before I came. I'm simply, made a few improvements in my time.
You fucking disgust me.
I beg your pardon. Who are you?
It don't matter who I am. Obviously, I'm with these people here to investigate. What matters is what you're doing with these people here, and it's fucking disgusting.
Oh, come on, man. Lighten up. Take one of the women. Do what you want with her.
Take one of the fucking women. What do I look like to you? Some kind of rapist? You white people always want to be going around domesticating everything, acting like you're the highest shit on the totem pole, and it's fucking disgusting.
Oh, there'd be no rape involved, lad. Trust me, they're all quite willing. The meepies love to please. And he kind of goes behind his hand and whispers over towards Flip. They think we're gods.
Hey, that's a pretty good racket you got going.
Not really sure what they'll think of your friend here, though.
Well, take a little bit of advice from me, and if you need another table, don't try to ask him to get down on all fours.
Where'd you find him? He's got a Massachusetts accent, but he doesn't look like a local.
Yeah, well, back in the States, he may look like a dock man, but he's one badass motherfucker, and you better watch yourself, because he's coming for you. I see those looks in his eyes. He
Right.
thought the doctor was a Klansman. I thought he was going to kill him on the spot, but he didn't.
Ooh. Which doctor? Oh, that must be the doctor. He gestures towards Dr. Steele.
Not a clansman. I have to refute this over and over again, simply because I'm wealthy and white. It's racism, frankly.
Was your dad a Klansman? Or what, your granddaddy? How about your granddaddy, huh?
The sins of my fathers are not my sins.
And, oh my God, is that Riggy McGuffins? Riggy? I didn't know you were coming.
Dr. Santa, here on a new scoop. Can help you out. Recording, what you say was in that temple?
Oh, lots of wonders, but I haven't been able to reach the inner sanctum. I'm still working on that, but we'll get there in time. In the meantime,
by the way.
The ex-wife, you mean? I don't know. Hopefully she's dead by now. Choked on that stubborn pride of hers. Anyway, I don't need her anymore. I've got everything I need here. Riggy, come on, take a girl. Make yourself comfortable.
If you make that fucking offer again, Tommy takes out his Bible and he begins quoting scripture to himself and just starts walking away.
Wow, that guy needs to loosen up. This is New Guinea, man. This isn't Massachusetts.
No, it is not. And I walk over to one of the men on all fours and take one of the teacups and start drinking it and start inspecting the women.
Okay. About this time, a couple of Meepies come out, kind of out of the bushes, basically dragging another tribesperson along with them. But they're kind of like they've got him one on each side of him, grabbed him by the arms just above the elbow, and kind of bringing him along forcefully. And you notice that his markings are different from theirs, the tattooing and the ritual markings on the face and body. And Dr. Steiner says, "Oh, look at this! They found a Kali." I told them it's important to send the right message to their neighbors. What they'll do next is a traditional practice that died out years ago until I revived it. Watch this. And so they take this Kali tribe member, which you gather is a rival tribe to the Meepi, or at least a neighboring tribe to the Meepi. And, they kind of drag him into the middle of the camp, and another Meepi comes up behind him and smashes him over the back of the head with a large rock, and he falls to the ground, blood spilling from his head. Another one takes a sharp rock from the ground and starts to cut him open. And they basically they gut the guy, they pull out various bits of him, and then they go over and hold them near the flames to heat them up, and they begin to eat them. One of the tribesmen comes over to you, Mackenzie, since you're sitting at the table, and he offers you what looks like maybe a part of the guy's liver. And he says something in a language you don't understand, and he's gesturing for you to eat it.
No, that is quite kind, but
he takes a bite out of it
and
gestures to show you it's okay.
I've lost my appetite.
I'll take a handkerchief and cover my mouth and nose with it.
Tommy throws up in the woods very, very loudly.
Okay.
Say, Dr. Stanner.
Yes?
Which way to this temple?
Oh, no, I'll take you there soon enough. Don't worry.
Which way?
Well, it's quite dangerous. So you'd probably get lost in the jungle if I just point you in a direction, you wander off. There's lots of dangers out there. We'll need guides and protection. You understand?
Sounds unprofitable. I need the scoop, and I need the scoop today.
Well, first, we have to induct you all into the tribe. Is your man done throwing up there in the trees?
And Tommy steps out and he wipes his mouth clean. And he's like, "If by inducting you want us to eat something, fuck something, or dance around something, ain't a single person here going to be doing it."
No, nothing quite like that. And one of the Meepi hands him like this kind of bowl. It's got like a little brush-like thing in it, and he just takes it and he walks over to Flips and says, "I name you Erino," and he takes the brush and he flicks some blackish liquid on you, the bowl.
I turn to our host while this is happening. I say, "So I'm a member of the tribe now. Like, who's the leader? Who's the grand poobah? Have you?"
That's me, of course.
I
Don't worry,
raise a
he
lot.
sees your kind of response to the liquid as well, and he says, "Don't worry, it's harmless. I promise you, it's not poisonous or anything."
And I raise an eyebrow so high it goes to the back of my neck.
He goes over to Riggy and he does the same thing, flipping this brackish liquid on you, and he calls you Turok. I actually didn't even write down. I can't remember what I named you, Andrew, but it doesn't matter really. You don't have to keep track if you don't want to. But they're just tribal names. He goes over to Dr. Steele.
No, thank you.
Oh, it's all a bit of fun, and he splashes some of the liquid on you.
I'm gonna punch him in the mouth.
Okay. Roll a d6. I don't think you're proficient in combat.
None of this voodoo shit. No way. That's 5.
5?
Yeah.
Okay, let me double check. I think that's a knockout anyway. Yeah, that'll knock him out. Bam! You punch him in the mouth and he goes down.
I'll just wipe this black goo off my face. No! I'm a man of God.
Several of the Meepy freak out. A couple of them run over to him to check him out, to see if he's still alive. And one of them picks up the sharp rock and is gesturing at you angrily and shouting in language you don't understand.
I will just lift my arms up big and roar at him.
I draw out my gun. I don't shoot, but I point it at the dude with the rock, and I say, "You back away from him right now."
I'll turn to Tommy. They're afraid of us. They think we're gods. If we act
He
big.
backs up. He backs up.
I walk forward and I lower the gun. And I look at the knocked out piece of shit on the ground. And I look to Steele, and almost uncharacteristically, I nod to him as I put away my gun, and I kind of kick the bowl off into the woods that he had dropped. And I look to everyone else and I say, "Seems we have a hiccup in our here mission."
What he's doing here. These primitives don't seem to know any better. He's clearly corrupted them somehow. From my understanding, savages are often have a sort of nobility to them. This is something else entirely.
It's fucking sick and ungodly. And I look down to the guy and I kick him in his ribs. And I look up to her.
You hear a guy shouting and goes, "Hey, stop that!" He comes running over. He's about 20, 21 years old. Looks like he's probably a student of Dr. Steiner's. He says, "What are you doing to him?"
He tried to cover me in some sort of hideous black liquid, and I wasn't having any of it.
Boy, have a seat.
He's checking out trying to wake up the doctor, kind of slapping him in the face a little bit, and he says something in the language to the Meepy who is there, and they rush off to get something.
I look down at him. "Where'd you send your boyfriends?"
He says he needs water. Who did this to him?
Don't matter who did it. Damn it, Steele! And I draw my gun, but I don't point at him. I have the gun out, and I motion towards the little kid on the ground. I'm like, "I want to say it again, and this time you're gonna do it. Have a seat."
And he sits there and cradles the doctor's head in his lap.
What's up with this sick, disgusting operation y'all got going around here?
What are you talking about? The doctor has enlightened these people. He's brought them up from the mud. He's a god amongst men, and the Meepy actually see him for what he is.
Steele, you have a PhD, right?
I do?
Can you please educate our friend here why what he's saying is fucking bullshit?
My young friend, you seem to have fallen into some sort of cult of personality. While
Could you please repeat that, Dr. Steele? And I start holding up a recorder.
You seem to have fallen into some sort of cult of personality, while the doctor who lives here is clearly charismatic. He is not a god. There is only one God. The God of Abraham.
Amen.
And the doctor starts to come to a little bit. He's like, whoa. And they're pouring a little water on his lips and a little bit on his face. And he shakes his head a little bit and he reaches up and strokes his jaw. He's got a nice bruise forming over there on the left cheek.
Doctor, we are here to look at this temple. We are not here to get involved in whatever witchery and voodoo you have going on here, whatever bizarre hold you have in this tribe.
As soon as you say that, then the ground starts to rumble and shake a little bit at first, and then it intensifies. The tribespeople start running around, their hands up in the air, screaming and shouting, "Utok! Utok! Utok!" Guys,
I pull my piece.
Guys, go ahead and everybody can roll a d6. Unless anybody would be particularly good at balance, they can maybe roll 2. Who would have a profession? Maybe the marshal and maybe the cop.
That's a 4 for me.
Or 2.
That is a 2 for me.
Oh, 1 for Riggs. Riggs gets thrown prostrate on the ground. You land in some of the nastiness from the remains of the Cali tribesmen. You got a 4, Andrew. What did you get there, Marquise?
2.
Did you roll 2 dice?
Yep, the other one was a 1.
Oh wow. Okay. So yeah. So you also you're also knocked to the ground. You drop your gun. But you don't like land in anything quite disgusting or anything of that sort. And a chasm basically tears open across one edge of the camp as the earthquake then starts to die down. Some of the natives look over at Dr. Steiner, who's now on his feet and looking into the chasm, and they cry out, "Aneso Amavani! Aneso Amavani!" And he looks around at them, and he looks at one of them, and he points at the chasm. And the tribesman just nods and throws himself into it, screaming.
What the hell is going on here?
He said, he looks to you and he says, "Just in case."
Just in case? Just in case what?
You have to understand, Doctor, you're not in Massachusetts anymore. These are superstitious people, if you can even call them people. If that earthquake persists and I do nothing, the Meepy might wonder if my claims are true.
I am
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was just gonna rush to you and help you up, Riggy.
Oh, Riggy is already he's covered in some viscera, and one arm is quickly wiping it off, and the other arm's holding out the tape recorder while Dr. Steiner is saying this stuff.
So I'll grab you by the back and lift you up since I have no arms to work with. And I whisper over your shoulder, "You better be careful, reporter. You're gonna get the big story." With an emphasis on big.
I stand up and go ahead, I'm sorry.
I wasn't going to say anything important.
I stand up and I grab my gun and I'm dusting myself off and I saw the guy jump in. I don't know what the fuck to believe right now. This entire situation is heinous, disgusting, immoral, satanic, and a bunch of other things that we Black Panthers do not like. So Tommy reaches into his coat and he takes out a bunch of folded papers. He says, "Yo, steal!" And I walk up to him and I shove the papers into his chest. I'm like, "These telegrams here." I motion to him with my gun. They talk about this kind of stuff, this kind of crazy shit going down. I look up to our host and I kind of point my gun at him and I say, "We gotta have a long discussion because you're doing some nasty voodoo shit here and I don't like it."
We can discuss all you wish, but I would suggest that you don't point that weapon at me.
I assume you'll strike him down with your godly powers, Doctor.
I don't need to. The Meepy will strike him down for me, if I wish.
Is that a threat or a promise?
You can take it as both if you wish. But I assure you, if anything foul were to happen to me at your hands, you certainly wouldn't make it out of this camp alive.
Now, wait a second here. I want to reason with you. I'm as for the boys' club as the next white guy. We need to take it easy. This is a U.S. officer of the law you're talking to. He's got a gun pointed at you, and trust me, the motherfucker will use it.
He says he can use it if he wishes, and it has nothing to do with the color of his skin or his nationality or his, his title back in Massachusetts. None of that stuff means anything here. None of it means anything to the Meepy.
Sounds like commie talk to me.
You're damn right it sounds like commie talk, and I start walking towards him.
Are you a fucking communist?
Everyone calm down.
No,
Doctor,
wait,
how
Steele.
familiar-
Wait, Steele. Is he undermining the title of a U.S. Marshal?
It's one of many offenses he's committed so far today.
It is the cardinal offense.
Interesting.
Host. Go ahead.
You've seen what the Meepy will do at my whims.
I have a
They
question.
know.
Doctor, what do you know about
that I
ancient
have been
mythology?
appointed by God to rule the world.
What do you know about mythology, Doctor? For example, Greek or Norse mythology.
I have a basic rudimentary understanding of it.
They have a pantheon of gods, no?
They do.
And these Meepy believe that you are a god because you are white-skinned?
What they actually believe is that I'm the one chosen by God to rule the world.
And we have just arrived. We are also white-skinned, and we have guns. We can summon thunder whenever we feel like it. Do you not think that these primitives will very quickly flock to us when we annihilate you with thunder? I would be careful with your threats, sir.
But I have something that you don't have. I have 10 years of interaction and experience with the Meepy tribe. You think
That'll
you
do
can
a lot of
change all of
good.
that in 10 hours?
I believe that we can. In fact, I know we can.
I have to say, I wasn't expecting Dr. Bile to send me such a confrontational and disagreeable lot of investigators.
What you are doing here is an abomination. What you've done to these people is cruel and hideous.
See, you just don't understand. You haven't seen it. You haven't been to the temple. I have having second thoughts of even bringing you there now, honestly.
This just in, the madman can't even decide his own mind. Will they make it to the temple? Find out next time on the next episode, Into the Bowels of New Guinea. And he
Riggy,
unends the... What?
stop it. First off, and I turn to Steel, I'm not white. Second off, and he turns back to the doctor, listen, I don't care about your 10 years of experience. We came here to do a job. And when we came down here, what did we see? You're raping these people's cultures, their bodies, their spirits, and every other fucking thing about them, and it's heinous, and it's not Christian. Are you a Christian man, doctor?
Could you please repeat that, Mr. Washington?
No.
I am looking at him with like eyes of spotlights right now. Everything hinges on this answer. Is he a Christian man?
Are you a Christian man, doctor?
He says, please. He says, I've learned too much in my years to fall under such a limited title.
Holy shit, he's white and... Praise Jesus, Mother Mary, please, amen, God! And I start walking away from this group and I pull up my Bible again.
I'm convinced at this moment that he is a communist, and I say to Riggy, breaking story, cultist meets his maker, and I run forward and attempt to shove him into the crevice.
Okay. Roll a d6. Well, wait a minute. No, this would be an attack. You can roll 2d6, being a U.S. Marshal.
2.
Oh, so you fail.
Smart little motherfucker in his old age.
Let me see here. What does a 2 again result in? That means whatever you wanted to do, you didn't do it at all, or you did it wrong. So you try to shove him in, and one of the Meepy steps up, like between you and him, and like just shoulder blocks you and knocks you down to the ground.
Well, what you doing there? And I try to wedge myself in between.
He
Mackenzie.
shouts something. The tribesman shouts something about Eneso and Lavano, and more tribespeople start coming out of the kind of little huts, and some out of the bushes, and before you know it, you're surrounded by dozens of Meepy shaking crude spears and chanting. What are they chanting? They are chanting Nafu, Nafu,
Tell
and
them to
Eneso
put down.
Amavani, Nasu, Nafu. Sorry.
I pull out 2 tape recorders.
Mm-hmm.
I play back one. Nasu. Nasu. Play back the other one.
Nafu, actually, yep, Nafu, yeah. And
Nafu.
some of them are also saying Akuta, Okuta.
Akuta. Akuta. Nafu. Nafu. And I just keep replaying them back and forth, dancing, hopping about, trying to intimidate them.
I raise my gun up and I point at the doctor and I say, "Call off your boys here, or we're all gonna die."
Why? So that you can kill me?
We won't kill you. We came here to do a job, and I plan to see this shit done because I need the money for my wife and kid. Now call off your boys here, or this whole entire situation's gonna go to hell in a handbasket.
I'll call off my dogs if you call off yours, and he gestures towards Flips.
Flips, come here.
I get up and straightening out my suit. I look at this tall, dark gentleman in front of me, and I say, "I'll be seeing you later, sweetheart." Blow him a kiss, and I walk over to Tommy.
How is the recordings being played back as loud as they can react?
Well, I'll tell you, I'll let you make a roll. Go ahead and roll a d6. What?
2d6 because I'm good at
Yeah, you
broadcasting.
can roll 2. You can roll 2. Did you roll 1 on the first one? Or is that your old roll?
That was my old roll. It's the only roll I've done so far. It's +1. 5.
Yeah, some of them are backing away from you. They're not sure what kind of witchcraft you're doing. But enough of them are still, protective enough of their apparent, savior or whatever they treat this guy like, that they still try to stay close to the doctor and protect him. But after Flips walks away, he says a few things, and they seem to lower their spears and kind of calm down, and most of them kind of go back to whatever they're doing. But they keep nervous eyes on you guys now. The tribe seem to have taken a disliking to you guys.
I lower my gun. I look at Dr. Steele, see what he's going to say.
He says, well, if we're all done trying to kill each other, he says, perhaps you'd like to make yourselves comfortable in your quarters, unload your equipment from your van, from the Jeep.
Yes. I think it would be best to keep a little bit of separation. The locals don't seem too pleased with us.
Yes, well, he says, I had arranged for women for all of you, but I'm afraid they might slit your throats in the night now, so we'll have to call that off. He says, I have a large tent for you over here, and he gestures in the direction, and you see there is a big tent put up. He says it's got cots and mosquito nets and everything inside. Sure, you should find it comfortable enough. And dry if the rains come.
Very well. I'll just go and start taking stuff out of the Jeep.
Okay.
Tommy is helping, and as Tommy is helping, it says to Dr. Steele, make sure you look over those telegrams. I feel like there's some crazy voodoo shit happening here, and I feel like he's the only one that can understand it.
I'll look through them once we get into the tent.
I will constantly harass Duncan to be able to look at the telegrams. Especially to get audio files of him reading them out loud recorded.
I'll have to read them first, Mr. McGuffins.
Just read them out loud, that's all you need.
I will read them first, and I will deem if it's alright to be read aloud.
Just read them out loud, it's a scoop, kid. That's all you need to do. Just do this one for me, right? I put that
No.
thing with the unicorn up on the radio. Everyone knew of your name because of this. Come on, you owe me a favor.
I would think about it.
Flips is just in disbelief. He's muttering, "One nation under God. Under God." And he's looking over his shoulder. I'm going to be paying a visit to that commie bastard.
Flips, you okay?
Yeah, no, I'm not okay. Only medicine that's going to cure this wound is that son of a bitch's blood.
Mm-hmm. Alright, good, boy. Gotta do the mission first before I take this nigga back. We'll shoot him real good, fucking unchristian piece of shit.
Make that white, blue, and red, boys. Show them the good, sweet love of, well, great, sweet love of patriotism going smack dab on his ass.
Amen, really.
I'm going to propose we take a quick 5-minute break if anyone wants to use the restroom, have a quick smoke,
Sounds good.
get something to drink, etc. I'll be back in just a moment.
Cool.
Okay.
The power of racism will let us conquer the Cthulhu this day.
Have you ever played Cthulhu before at all, Marquis?
This is my first time playing Cthulhu, so I'm enjoying it so far.
Yeah. You'll come to expect the vile.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, when I read the telegrams, I already realized I was getting into some deep doo-doo. And then I actually got to the deep doo-doo. Now here I am.
Nah, man, you're not even in the deep doo-doo yet. This is just camp.
I mean, they're already eating people, throwing other guys down giant chasms that open out of nowhere. I'll let Dr. Steele here handle the actual deep doo-doo. I'll just be there to be racist and shoot things.
Yeah, hopefully my cryptozoology will come in handy.
As soon as Chepe and Andrew get back, we'll continue. And what do you think of the mechanics of the system?
It seems fine. I mean, it's been haven't really done much rolling so far, but
No. Well, not really meant to, I suppose.
yeah.
It's simple and easy, so I enjoy it.
Andrew's back. What do you think so far, Andrew? Impressions? Always ask him as he's in the middle of chewing something probably crunchy and delicious.
Yeah, it's good. I like it. Simple.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I like character creation. You just need a name and a profession. That's it.
Yep, that's awesome.
Commie killer.
Rigged McGuffins is back. Okay, guess we're ready to continue. Okay, so yeah, how do you guys sleep that night? Does everybody sleep through the night? Does anybody stay up or?
I think once we get to the tent, I will suggest that we keep watch, that somebody stays awake at all times. I don't trust these people.
Mhm. Probably a good
Tommy's
idea.
gonna Tommy's going to agree. I mean, he's never really had to keep watch before, since he was born and raised in the city. They don't really go camping and all that, having to keep
Yeah.
watch. But he agrees with it, and he's like, "I guess we can, but what about them telegrams?"
Yeah, I'll look into them now. Um, kind of figure out what's going on there. So they were. There was mention of somebody dying or running into the jungle.
Hmm. Yeah, there was, mention that the was it Dr. Stevenson, I think was the guy's name who was on the expedition, just said that he was killed by the jungle. Dr. Zachary Stevenson, in fact, and you would know him from the university, um, Lloyd,
Hmm.
Dr. Steele. You would know anyway that he was a bit of a rival of Steiner's, but he was probably sent along on the expedition in order to kind of add, what's the word I'm looking for? A certain level of skeptical belief to it or whatever. You know what I mean? And in order to secure funding, oftentimes they want to make sure that, some doctor goes on an expedition to a foreign country. They don't want him just to have all of his buddies with him. You know what I mean? They want to make sure
Yeah.
they have somebody else to kind of keep it in check and everything. Um, but yeah, in the telegram, it just says that, you know, Steiner had said that the jungle killed him.
Mm.
There was also a Mr. Johnson, Jasper Johnson, who had been an archaeology student, who had gone to the temple with Steiner and then run screaming into the jungle, never to be seen again.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah. So I'll put on these glasses, um, thick rimmed, thick glasses, and I'll kind of read through the whole thing. My face getting more and more uneasy as I read through them, and I'll kind of uh, turn to Washington and say, "This is strikingly familiar to another expedition that I went on. A hidden temple, a man gone insane. We need to be extremely careful."
How did you come out of that one?
Uh, I did a few things I'm not proud of, but I got home. That's the main thing.
Like, what do you mean?
This is not the time to talk about such things. Certainly not to you, McGuffin, I'm afraid. This is not a scoop.
Oh, I can smell that cherry ice cream, my friend. There is plenty to scoop here.
Riggy, that Riggy. Stop with the jokes. Stop with the scoops. We need to be serious because we don't know what kind of nasty Satan shit we're getting into.
He's right.
Well, at least let me take a look at those telegrams.
It takes a dark mind to turn to communism. Dark.
I snatched the telegrams out of his hands.
All right, you could have just asked, Riggy.
I did. You ignored it. Goes into the corner, and as he reads them by candlelight, I'm guessing, lantern light, he
Sure.
starts recording it as he reads out loud.
I mean, you guys probably have some battery-operated flashlights as well, but you probably want to
Mhm.
save the batteries for emergencies.
Yo, Flips. What
What
do you
up?
say? What do you say? Once we finish seeing what kind of dark shit's in this temple, we take our boy the doctor for a little ride, through the forest and everything. Show him what it's like to be an American.
I think that's an excellent idea.
Hmm. Crazy ass white motherfucker.
Be sure to kick him in the gonads for ruining my equipment.
Take him for a ride, all right. Take him for his last ride.
Okay.
You mean you're not going to be there, Ricky? You're not going to be there?
Never said I wasn't.
Well, then you tell him yourself. What do I look like, your servant?
Say it word for word, Ricky.
There are no servants here in democracy, my good friend.
Yeah, that's right.
Only my fellow man who's willing to do another fellow man a favor.
I look at him real long and real hard. What you gonna pay back a favor with, Mr. Newspaper Man?
Your name highlighted across the nation, my fine U.S. Marshal.
I stand up straight in my collar, kind of like snap my fingers.
The tales of your deeds will be broadcasted nationwide, at least across the fine county, 8 multiple counties of Massachusetts.
That's what I'm talking about. I can see it now, Ricky.
Wait,
Dashing
Ricky,
U.S. Marshal defeats communism in foreign land.
before you two started having a little powwow over here about defeating communism, you got a light?
Sorry, I'm afraid I like to keep my constitution properly adjusted.
Yeah, I got a lighter.
What are you
I pull
talking
it out.
about? Cigarettes are incredibly healthy. My doctor told me.
Doesn't smoke. I hear the communists don't smoke.
Yeah, that's what
But
I
they
heard.
definitely smoke. When they're burned.
I light a cigarette and I hand it to Riggy.
Sorry.
I still need that light, Flips.
I hand the cigarette over. I hand the cigarette over to. Over to Washington.
It's
Here you go,
because,
Washington.
because he's black, isn't it?
I look at the lighter and I toss it over to Washington.
Thank you. And well, I already got the cigarette from Riggy, so I kind of look at the lighter and I look at the already lit cigarette, and I don't really know what to do, so I look to Steele. I'm like, you need a light?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I light him a cigarette. We do the whole powwow, and I look to Flips and I say, Flips, you got first watch?
I got first watch, I got last watch, I got middle watch. You boys get some beauty sleep.
Hey, Mackenzie, what do you think we entitle your segment? Kicking Hitler's mouth down south.
Hitler wasn't a communist. Do your white schools not teach you nothing no more, Riggy?
Oh, that's too funny.
I am a fine, educated gentleman, thank you very much.
So Flips is offering to take all the watches. Anybody gonna protest that? Or?
Nope.
Liberty doesn't need to sleep, but beauty does.
Okay. So what do you do on your watch, Andrew? Are you gonna actually kind of go out and explore it all a little bit, look around camp? You gonna stay in the tent the whole time?
I'm gonna find the most strategic area to guard the location from. Something with a little bit of height and cover so I can see well.
Okay.
And once I find that location, I just kind of sit down in it and take out my 40, empty the clip, and go through the rounds and put them back in. And every time I clip one of the bullets in, I'm thinking of one of those tribesmen.
Mm-hmm.
Clip.
Late at night, after nearly everybody's gone to sleep, you see somebody walking through the village.
Oh, fuck no.
He walks by your tent, doesn't go into it, just walks by it.
The moment he gets close to the tent, I leap to my feet and I say, "Ooga booga!" and I yell at him really loud.
Dr. Steiner like kind of leaps for a second and looks up and says, "Oh, it's you. Fancy running into you in the dark like this." And he looks a little nervous.
You almost gave me a heart attack, Doc. Don't sneak up on a man like that.
So I have insomnia. I can't sleep.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, this temple, you're going to be amazed when you see it. I assure you, this is going to be my most important find of my career.
Smart guy like you, articulate, likable. Damn it, Doc, tell me, why'd you do it? Why'd you do it, Doc? Why'd you turn commie?
I'm not a commie. Are they still teaching any of that rubbish?
That's what they all say. You're not a commie. He's not a commie. Rigging a Guffin's not a commie. But I see your red blood.
I wouldn't limit myself to communism.
Oh, I see. So you're for all kind of debauchery.
Says, well, sometimes when I have trouble sleeping, I use one of the female savages for my amusement. Sometimes I force a couple of the males to fight each other to the death. Look at these people. They're savages. They're barely more than apes themselves.
Yeah, well, from where I'm standing, you ain't looking much better.
You'll see. You'll see when we get to the temple that you're wrong.
Yeah, well, I hope for both of our sake.
Well, look, I'm not going to try to convince you. You'll just have to see for yourself. We'll leave in the morning.
All right, hop along now, Doc.
Sleep well. And he walks off.
Yeah, wave the tip of my gun at him.
As you turn back to go back to your vantage point, you hear somebody go in the darkness, but you don't even see anybody at first, but you just hear a shh.
Yeah, not tonight, Snake. I'm trying to sleep, boy. I got my watch to do. You leave me alone.
White man, over here.
Whoa, wait. What the fuck are you doing sneaking up on me? Who are you? Who are you in there?
You see a meepy. He's got some big fanciful kind of like head dressing and outfit on, actually. He's much better dressed than most of the tribesmen you've seen. He's got some bone necklace on him. He's got a big, huge piercing that goes through the entirety of his nose. He's also got piercings in his lips.
So I'm looking him up and down, and I'm like, now that's what I'm talking about. Just like out of National Geographic. You I can talk to.
He says, we must talk private, away from Steiner.
Yeah, okay. I'll share some words with you, but we can't go too far away. I want to keep an eye on that tent.
So he walks off kind of into the jungle a little bit with you. He says, I learned some of the doctor's English.
Yeah, you speak it half good, too.
I don't follow him blindly like the rest of my people. I'm what you would call a medicine man.
Oh, so one of those witch doctor type things, right?
I do not understand the word witch.
You like, you shrink heads. You cut the heads off of roosters.
No.
Is that what you do?
I do use medicines to heal the sick. And I used to lead the tribe in the ways of the gods until Dr. Steiner's arrival. They don't listen to me near as much anymore.
I see, so you're who we dethroned, that's what you're telling me? Comes in and becomes the big boss, now you want a little piece?
No, I don't subject myself to the appetites that my people have. I don't want a piece of anyone. I came to tell you, be careful on your journey tomorrow. Everyone who he's taken to the temple haven't come back. First, there was the boy who ran screaming into the woods. Or into the jungle, sorry. Damn it, Marquise has got to be saying woods. It's not woods, it's the jungle. He says He dropped this before he left for the temple, and he hands you a journal. And then the woman, the one he had relations with, the one he tormented, he took her to the temple too. But he's the only one who came back with blood on his shirt.
So
Once
this
a month,
isn't Homeboy's first time taking foreigners to the temple. That's what you're telling me. He's killed he takes people there on a regular basis and they just disappear
every month he takes one of our people there.
every
Every,
month. Now we're getting somewhere. Now that's interesting. I take a pen
every
out of my
month,
pocket.
every moon cycle, whatever he calls it. Every moon cycle he takes one of our people there and they do not return.
Moon cycle, regular, sacrifice. These are the words I'm writing down on my pad.
Mm-hmm. Be careful.
Okay.
Do not trust him.
Now I'm judging by the secrecy of our little powwow here. Excuse my English. That you and this guy, you're not on very good terms. In fact, I think he probably wants to kill you on sight, doesn't he?
I avoid him mostly, and he leaves me alone. I think he knows that despite his power over my tribe, they still respect me. If he were to harm me, it would harm his reputation with them. After
You
all,
meant
I delivered most of their children. I heal them when they're sick still.
well, now that's interesting. I would say that you two are enemies. The enemy of my enemy is obviously my friend here. You've studied him more than anyone else. What's his weakness?
I do not know the word. He says something in his language.
I tried to think of everything that's weak. I think of Riggy. I think of the doctor. I think of a wet noodle of bread with too much butter on it, but I can't conjure the imagery to convince this man. And
He
I get
says
angry and I kick in the dirt.
he believes himself too much.
On ego. Yeah.
My
Them
people
commies always
think
have an ego.
my people think he's chosen by God to rule the world. I think he believes it too.
Yeah. We's about to find out even gods can die. Now, you probably know this temple, right? You've been there before. You've probably been there several times.
No, I will not go to that place.
Oh, okay. I see how it is. So we're a canary. Going down in the mine, you're going to sit back and see what happens?
I will not go there. It is very dangerous.
You smoke, and I pull out my pack of cigarettes. Tobacco?
Yes, your cigarettes, they are enjoyable.
I'll pull him out one and give it to him and light it. Alright, well, I got a whole group of men back here. We're going to be going to that temple tomorrow. I'm going to have a little meeting with them, and I'm going to tell them what we talked about. Now, how the hell am I going to get in touch with you again if I need to?
I'm here. My hut is on the other side of the village, near the stream. I practice my medicine there. If any of you come down with illnesses that you do not know how to deal with, it's my specialty. I can help you.
Okay.
You said the enemy of my enemy is my friend. If you get an illness, I will help you for free.
Well, I can't beat that. I'm going to be honest with you, though, straight up, Mr. Medicine Man. I'm vaccinated. These other fools, doubtful. They're going to get all kinds of stuff. Black pecker rot, jungle feet, ooga booga. I don't know what it is, but I'm going to send them your way. Because you're of the jungle, you know how to deal with the jungle.
Yes. Be careful. I must go now.
Okay.
It's late, and he always walks around at night. And he disappears off into the darkness, into the shadows.
I watch him, and I turn around and go back to the tent.
Okay. You've got the journal of Jasper Johnson.
believe it or not, the U.S. Marshal doesn't really read. So he opens up the door to the tent, walks in, and
That's a flap-like thing, kind of.
like, I throw it back and I go, "Wakey, wakey, eggs and bakey, princesses."
What the fuck?
What?
I kick something loud. Is there like a pot or a pan or something?
Yeah, sure. Cooking pot.
Bam!
Motherfucker, what are you goddamn? What the shit, man? What are you doing?
I look back, I look at Riggy, and I look at the doctor, and I'm trying to decide who I want to trust this information with. And since I'm an American, I always trust capitalism.
I like that you left Tommy out of that equation.
Yeah, definitely not gonna trust him with it. I throw the journal at Riggy. I go, there you go. Met me a genuine medicine man. Had some interesting things to say about Big Boss over there too. You know, Mr. God.
I'm like, what?
And for sake of expediency, I relay to them my details from my pad.
Sure. So he did basically, I presume you guys were listening in anyway. He tells you basically everything the medicine man just told him.
So to cap off the end of the conversation, I say, and one more, he told me, we come down with anything, we have any ailments, any diseases, he's in that hut down there by the river.
And we're to trust this man?
I don't trust him. Fucking dirty commie if you ask me.
It seems we have few friends. I suppose the one that reaches out to us is better than nothing.
I don't trust some fucking cannibal Satanists, man. It's everywhere. What's in the journal, Riggy?
Riggy's been flipping through it. There's just a few things that really stand out. Mostly it's just boring details about the archaeological expedition. You know, studying the Meepies, learning some of their words. But a few things that stand out to you towards the end of the journal. The Meepy tribe knows something. They fear the temple, and rightly so. I have glimpsed something of what's inside, not as much as Steiner. Perhaps that's why I'm only frightened and not stark raving mad like him. A little further down it says, I've learned that the natives call Dr. Steiner Eneso Amavani. It means high priest of the thing that came from outside. They give him that title because of his own claims, backed up by his flagrant abuse, as well as his preoccupation with whatever is in that accursed temple. And then the final entry actually says, the Meepi have a legend about something black, slick like water and writhing that fell out of the sky generations upon generations ago. Whatever arrived on Earth was taken to the temple and left there, perhaps for us to find. And that brings to mind the last telegram which you read when you were doing your recordings, which was from Steiner himself, that said, I must become one with the thing living in Nafuata, whatever it may be, deliciously loathsome, exquisitely hideous, and awe-inspiringly depraved. It's within reach, yet somehow keeps me at bay. I must have more men.
Well, kiddos, looks like we got ourselves a nice creature for you, Mr. Steele. Seems the universe decided to chew up some tobacco and spit it out on our little cosmic rock.
Fascinating stuff, I wonder. Maybe it's the... I start rattling off all these names of creepy creatures that I've heard about. Maybe it's the Flargle, Blarglewag, or the Flingly Wangly thing.
Maybe it's an Indian.
It sure ain't Bigfoot.
As Dr. Steele was rattling off these names, you would hear Tommy go, oh shit! And you could hear 3 gunshots, one after another, like a blam, blam, blam. Turning around, you would see him with the gun pointed at the ground, and he'd be breathing really hard. It's like, big ass spider, I'm sorry. And kind of, he puts the gun away. and starts picking out his hair.
Yeah, there is the remains of a big ass fucking spider. Yeah, some kind of tarantula or something maybe.
The doctor immediately jumped on the ground and covered his head.
Kind of like a tarantula, just less cute.
Riggy, you think this thing in the tunnel is gonna be like this spider here? Look how big this thing is. Doctor, you see something this big before?
That's a rare large spider.
Yeah,
Thank God I shoot it again.
I think it's
it's in pieces.
dead.
In fact, I opened the tent to make sure no one's coming from the gunshots.
Well, yeah, there are some people moving around the thing now, like kind of shouting out and in their language, but they don't come out to the night. You do see someone approaching though in the shadows, walking towards your tent. Can't make them out.
Hey, you, Mr. Sandman, declare yourself.
Relax, it's me, Steiner. I heard gunshots. Is everything all right?
Fucking Tommy, you tell him.
I'm still in there, but I come out. I got a cigarette now as I'm picking my hair. So I'm like, fucking big ass motherfucking Satan spider. Ain't never seen the like of it from where I'm from. I throw the cigarette down and stomp it. I go back inside picking my hair.
Yes, be careful. Most of the spiders are extremely poisonous. Poisonous enough that one bite can kill a grown man within hours. The ones that don't kill just paralyze you, and then they eat your flesh. There's also some rather large snakes, large enough to swallow a man whole.
This place fucking sucks.
Good night. And he walks away.
Hey, Steiner, wait a second. I got a question for you.
Yeah?
Since you're already here and all. I was looking around a bit, just checking out your little establishment, your village here, or whatever you call it. And I saw a hut that's all by itself down on the other side of the river. What's going on down there? That's pretty peculiar looking, if you ask me.
Oh, that's the doctor. If you get a rash from one of the women, go see him.
Yeah, something does itch, and I give myself a pretty big scratch in the pelvis area. I was thinking, maybe I'd stop down there by tomorrow before we go to the temple and talk to him for a bit.
Do what you like. We're leaving in the morning, though, and if you're not here, we leave without you. Good night.
Yeah, sleep tight, you communist bastard.
Back in the tent, he's declaring different headlines with man-eater. Being attacked by the man-eating spider!
Hey, Riggy,
Snakes the size that can swallow a man whole. What?
Riggy, talk about how I shot the spider 3 times. This thing was as big as a goddamn wolfhound. Say as big as a wolfhound. Look how big it is.
It's about the size of your hand.
Wolfhound.
A Burmese wolfhound spider of Papua New Guinea.
Now it's fucking dead is what it is. Fucking piece of shit.
Burmese wolfhound spider of Papua New Guinea. I like it.
Savaged by the great and powerful panther himself.
Okay, well, it's now about 2 o'clock in the morning. So you've got several hours to try and get some more sleep.
I put a bunch of big ass rocks around my little cot, and I'm very paranoid. I don't sleep well that night. I'm afraid of giant ass spiders and snakes coming in. So I also got my gun right there underneath my pillow, and like the moment I feel like a snake, a spider, or one of them touching me, I'm gonna just blow their heads off.
Yeah, I mean, you sleep in mosquito nets, but man, that spider looked big enough. You could probably lift the edge of one of those things and crawl under it if you wanted to. Your imagination's running wild with you, too, or maybe you could burrow under it, too, for that matter. Ooh, you've heard about burrowing spiders.
Doctor, how do you sleep with these big ass spiders everywhere?
I'm old and I'm tired. I'll sleep anywhere.
Does anybody not sleep?
Yeah, I don't. I go back to my perch.
Okay.
I don't sleep either.
You stay awake the rest of the night, Tommy?
Yeah, I'm fucking scared out my ass.
Okay. Chepe and Lloyd, would you each roll a d6 for me, please?
6.
4.
Dr. Steele, you have a dream.
Ooh.
Very intense dream. You're stumbling through the jungle, feeling feverish, unwell. There's something down below. You don't know what that means, but you just feel it. There's something down below. You stumble out of the jungle, and a preternatural hunger, a subterranean appetite that won't be sated until it bursts forth, devouring the world as humanity falls to its knees in despair overcomes you. And then you wake up sweating. And it's daylight. Early.
I'll like get some water and splash it in my face.
You need some bacon, doctor, and you see Tommy there cooking up like a skillet of bacon over a campfire.
Yeah, that would help.
Give me 3 more minutes.
Yeah,
Good.
you actually have like a little wood burning stove in the tent.
What look like you had a nightmare. You were dreaming about those big ass spiders?
Yes. Yeah. Yes, I had some pretty unpleasant nightmares about spiders.
Ooh,
And you
know
hear
they
a primal like woman scream from outside. And you hear many voices shouting, and then you hear like as people are gathering.
More of this nonsense. I'll kind of walk outside.
Okay. When you go outside, let me see here. Yeah, when you go outside, you can see a giant snake. It must be 18 feet long. And it's almost finished swallowing an unlucky tribesman. And you can see the woman who screamed, and she's being comforted by another man. And you can see some of the other tribespeople. They're holding spears, but they're kind of staying back because the man's dead for sure. He's probably been in this state for a long time. And you would have some knowledge of this kind of thing, being a cryptozoologist. You know that these pythons have a very poisonous bite, and it takes hours for them to swallow a man whole. You've heard stories of this. So he's probably been like that for hours because he's nearly fully swallowed at this stage.
What are you
It
doing?
reminds you a bit
Kill
of
it! Kill the damn thing! It'll come back and kill another one.
What's going on out there, doctor?
It's a giant fucking snake.
What the fuck? And I come running out. I leave my skillet of bacon there, and I pull out my gun the moment I see it. I unload every single bullet into the snake, and then I click out the magazine. I put in another one, and then I unload every other bullet in that one in the snake as well.
Okay. Yeah, you can kill the snake. And the
Holy-
tribespeople just look at you in disgust and say, Ukuta Nafu.
Ooh, what
And
the
they all
fuck
kind
you
of
looking
repeat it. And they walk away.
Why aren't
the
they?
Snake is dead. So is the man that was, mostly swallowed by it.
They should be grateful.
Fucking ungrateful, goddamn. I'm gonna go check on the bacon. You look around, make sure there ain't no more snakes. I don't like this shit. And I walk in and I finish doing the bacon.
I'll keep on snake watch.
I'm up watching the whole snake thing. Like, I heard it happening, and I just didn't get anybody. If you turn around and look at me, I've got like a full pin-up I've unfolded from my pocket, and it's of Marilyn Monroe, and I'm looking it up and down using the light from my cigarette to look at her, and I'm like, whoa, 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 sweet mama. As I like kind of hold it to the side, and I hear the gunshots go off, and I'm like, what the fuck did he see now?
I would look up the years I'm going back in the tent. I'd be like, weren't you supposed to be on watch?
I was watching two things, two really nice things, and I go back to just looking at the foldout.
Jesus, have mercy on my young, black, beautiful soul. And I go in back to the tent.
Riggy, are you going to document the snake attack, or?
He was staying inside. Did you, was there anything unsavory
Big
out
ass
there?
fucking snake eating people, if you count that as unsavory.
Is it dead?
Yeah, I shot that shit up fucking 18 times. I'd shoot it again if I could. Want some bacon, Vicky?
Thing.
Alright, 1 second. I start getting all plates and I start putting some bacon and eggs on all the plates for everybody. And I call Doctor back in. I go to call Flips back in. And I hesitate and then I call him in anyway and I kind of regret it.
Yeah, I'll saunter on down the hill back to the tent.
I got everyone's breakfast out there. Good. I say good old fashioned black breakfast. I know you white people like to eat your quail eggs and your rich and your money and all that stuff, but today we eating good old chicken eggs, good old pork bacon, just like Mama used to make it. Alright?
Sounds delicious.
And then I go over to my my backpack and I pull out, some things I start putting together and I slide a cassette into a boombox to start playing James Brown's latest signal as I sit there and start eating my breakfast.
I will sit down and take the breakfast, but immediately become critical and say, no coffee.
Motherfucker, we think I'm gonna get coffee out here, goddamn snake ass. The fuck? You go make some coffee from some goddamn snake ass if you want it so badly.
You know what, Tommy? I will go make some coffee. How you like yours? Black? Extra black? Super extra duper full body black?
He looks at you with a deadpan like a nigga, what'd you just say? And he looks back to his finger and it's like, I'm gonna pretend like you didn't say that, because right now we're surrounded by engines, we're surrounded by spiders, we're surrounded by snakes, and we're surrounded by some crazy ass god man. But when we get back, we gotta have some words, Flips. I just keep eating my breakfast.
Alright then, well if you ask me, coffee tastes best when it's got 3 big scoops of cream. And I walk out the tent.
Did someone say scoops? Flips, where you going? Flips, get back here! And he runs out of the tent, chasing it with the tape recorder.
That's awesome. Very quick on that too, Chepe. Congratulations. Okay, so Dr. What's his name again? I've forgotten his name. Dr. Steiner is preparing the expedition anyway. He's got about half a dozen of the Meepy tribespeople who are armed with spears and stuff that will be escorting you guys as well. He says, you never know, there might be more of those snakes out there. He says, that's probably what got Vanessa.
Why did they look at me all weird like when I killed that giant snake?
It's considered bad luck. You know, like back in the United States, how it's bad luck to kill a spider in your house.
I never heard that bullshit before, but what if?
Is it not also bad luck to be eaten by a snake?
Yeah, it must have been his destiny.
Destiny.
You're in the jungle now. We're no longer the apex predators here.
I got the gun, don't I?
Yes, you do. And so far, it's served you well, hasn't it?
Yeah, it is going to continue serving me well. Ain't
How
no
many,
one better than a Black Panther.
How many more bullets you got left, anyway?
None of your damn business, Doctor.
Hope it's enough if they're needed.
I give him this look, and then I look over to the Dr. Steele. I just look down to myself as I'm packing up for the expedition.
So basically, he says we're going to follow the river. It'll take us quite a while to reach Nafuata. Make sure you bring plenty of water and some extra food. If we may, if it's a quick trip, we could be back before midnight. But quite possibly we won't be back till the next day, if we're lucky.
Me and the other men require spirits. And I ain't talking about your oogity boogity kind. I'm talking about the kind you drink. Now, what you fellas imbibe around here?
This is why you're in luck. He says, I have a bottle of scotch I was saving just for this occasion.
Hey, that's the first American thing I've heard you say, Doctor.
It's actually Scottish, but okay. Whatever
Give
you
me the
say.
drink.
Hands it over to you.
Yeah, there you go. It wasn't so hard, was it? And I slap him on the hand.
Let's try to save some for a real celebration once we get there.
Why the fuck are we going to celebrate getting to the temple?
I hope we'll be able to get into the inner sanctum today and find out what the heart of the temple hides.
What's been giving you complications getting in there?
You wouldn't believe me if I told you, so I'll save my breath. Come, let's go.
Wait a second. What, Doctor? Do you hear Dr. Steele?
Seems odd. I thought you regularly go to this temple, no?
I've been to it many times, yes.
And the journey is always perilous?
It's not easy, correct.
Well, if you've been many times, I'm sure you know the way quite well. I'm sure there's no danger.
I know the way quite well. Doesn't mean it's not dangerous. Did you see the snake this morning?
Yes, well, I think if those people hadn't simply sat around looking at it happen, that man would have been fine.
The man was dead before they found it.
A likely story.
Do you know how long it takes a snake to eat a grown man? Hours. You think someone sat there for hours staring at that before they decided to scream?
It certainly
Yeah.
wouldn't be the strangest thing that I've seen in this little town you have here.
Well, just save your prejudices. I'm not
Save my prejudices!
Who's the one acting like they're a guy because they got white skin? Who the fuck do you think you're talking to like that? Dr. Steiner? If I can even call you a fucking doctor.
Mr. Washington, calm yourself and ask yourself, how much money do you make every month?
Why are you asking me all these personal questions like you know somebody over here?
You got any partners? Any white partners?
What?
They make more money than you, don't they?
Why are we even having this conversation right now?
No. Just think about that. He turns and walks away.
Yo, Flips, come here real quick.
Yo, what's up, Tommy?
How much
I
money?
walk up to him. I lean into him so close. I'm going to whisper so low that no one else could hear me. I'm going to say, when we get to this temple, you see what's in there? I'm going to kill this motherfucking piece of shit, white KKK Klansman piece of motherfucking ass the moment we get there. All right?
You know it's good by me. Every moment a commie's drawing breath is a bad moment.
I agree. I step back and I look to my man Riggy over here. I'm like, yo, Riggy,
What do you need?
you ready to get the scoop of the century to put our names into the headlines when we get back?
Scoop so big they'll rename my channel the Big Dipper.
He looks at you seriously.
I'm seeing stars, boys. I'm seeing stars. More than one kind.
He turns and he walks away.
I love it. Okay, I need you all to roll d6, please.
2.
4.
3.
The magic 6.
6.
So it is. It takes you several hours, basically walking through the jungle to get to Nafuata. Chepe, as you're walking, you catch a glimpse of someone in the jungle, like kind of almost mirroring your movements off to your right, several yards away.
I chunk one of the old batteries of the tape recorder, which is probably as heavy as a brick at him.
Okay. And you see yourself chunking a big-ass battery off the tape recorder at you. Like a perfect mirror image of yourself.
Do the tape recorder batteries hit?
They do, and as they do, there's like a distortion, a flash of light, and then there's nothing. You're just staring into the jungle, and you see your battery lying on the ground.
Thought I was the one that got sleep. The mystic jungles of Papua New Guinea. I like the sound of it.
Riggy, keep it down back there, man. We're trying to walk in some quiet.
Whoever's walking behind Ricky, you see him just kind of stare off into the jungle and hurl a battery into the jungle for no apparent reason. And he stares for a few moments, and then he walks over and picks it up before he says what he just said. Bless you, Lloyd.
I'm walking in front of Riggy, so I probably wouldn't have seen this.
Okay. Just if anybody was behind me, you could have seen it. But
Is this a way that you fix your batteries? Some sort of kinetic energy displacement when you throw them? When they run low on energy?
Please, you give me too much credit, Doctor. No, seriously though, I saw something in the woods over there. Looked like me. Good looking chap. And he disappeared.
You didn't find that odd?
Dr. Steele, I covered your pyramid story. That unicorn thing. There isn't anything odd. Especially not around you.
It's true. Well, we don't have time. Onwards.
Probably communism. He looks over at McKinley.
Communist. And
Communism.
so you guys arrive eventually, finally, at Nafuata. It's a half-sunken temple just off the river. Who has read the book? It was Washington, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, you were in the library. You know that it's considered one of the oldest structures in New Guinea. And you know that academics could not account for its existence or determine who built it or why. The temple is, supposedly full of snakes, monkeys, statues, giant spiders, all kinds of things. The entrance to the temple is the mouth of a stream. As you guys approach the entrance, Dr. Steiner says something to the tribesmen, and they kind of look relieved as they kind of step off to the sides to wait outside. They're not going into the temple. The temple is like slick black, strange stone. You haven't seen any stone around here that looks anything like this. There are the likenesses of malevolent spirits or possibly demons or gods that frame the entryway. There's a thick curtain of spider webs everywhere. And Sanders says, yeah, no matter how I try, I burn them every time. The spider webs always come back before my next visit.
I would like a minute to say a prayer, if you would not mind, before I go into this.
Of course, Mr. Washington. Whatever makes you feel better.
If anyone would like to join me, I will lead us all through some very rousing prayer. In the name of Jesus.
The doctor will kind of think for a second, and then he'll say, yes, I think that might be a good idea.
Yeah, I'm with you, Tommy.
Yes, of course. And he does that twice. Across his chest, there's a crucifix. And he says, in the name of the Father, Son, and he kind of mumbles it through, and then he walks straight in, and he keeps as close to Dr. Steiner as he can.
Tommy gives, okay, I'm not going to describe it, but he basically gives this really rousing, really powerful speech-like prayer, and he's like, he pulls out this Bible, he's reading out scriptures to everyone. It takes about 10 minutes longer than a short prayer should, so it takes about 11 minutes, essentially. And when he finishes, he closes the Bible and goes, Amen, praise Jesus, and may this evil do us no harm! And he grabs his gun and he walks in.
Amen.
I walk in too, but I see one of these carvings of these demons or monsters or whatever is wearing a robe, and I elbow Dr. Duncan and I say, "Friends of yours, Doctor?" With a shit-eating grin on my face.
I've never seen anything like it.
Hey, come on, we're not talking to the colored gentleman. It's just me and you. And I elbow him again and I say, "I'm sure you wore a few robes in your time."
I don't know where this reputation has come from that I am involved with the clan, but it's not so. I have a traditional way of viewing things, but our colored friend has made himself very useful. He seems a resourceful chap. I have no ill will towards him.
Yeah, well, all I'm saying is, me thinks you protest us too much is all. Hey, and I walk forward.
Just pinch the bridge of his nose with this. Goddamn Hicks.
Okay. And Dr. Steiner and Ricky are kind of waiting by the entrance as you guys come up. And you all walk in together, the five of you. Now, I would like you all to roll a d6, please.
I got 6.
The two.
1.
Oh, a 1. The 1 was for Mackenzie. Okay. So you come into this really big, dark kind of entrance chamber. It's cavernous, and as you go in, it's just kind of lit from the light outside, and Dr. Steiner is struggling to light a match to light one of his lanterns. And let's see here.
His head explodes.
Hold on a second. Let me clear that a second. Let me turn on my camera so you can see my rolls. I'm going to make this transparent. Okay. That's a 3. So what was a 3 in an attack? By the way, my first roll was a double 6, but it wasn't visible. A 3 in combat means to disgrace you. So you feel something large brush against your back and kind of push you forward, Mackenzie.
Whoa!
At the moment, like, the only real light in the room is a little bit of sunlight trickling in from outside the door, and Steiner's failed attempts to light a match. Do you guys provide any other light sources?
Anyone got a lantern? You okay with it, by the way, Flips?
Something hit me.
Okay, well, you can see some kind of large shape on the ground in front of you moving.
Turn on the flashlight.
There you go. Ricky turns on a flashlight and you see a giant spider. Whereas the spider you saw before was like the size of your hand, this spider is like the size of a golden retriever.
Fuck that. I'm running away. Back out of the temple immediately. Screaming.
To the door.
Screaming.
Steel, stay close by, Steel. And I take out my gun. I start shooting at the spider, just blasting this thing to hell if I can.
I'll let you roll your attacks. Ricky, what are you doing?
Holy shit! I got a 1.
Hold on a second. Ricky, what are you doing?
Ricky,
You shine the flash at the spider. You see a big, large dog-sized spider.
Whoa, Nelly! And he's like, turns off the flashlight real quick.
Okay, it goes dark again. Nice.
Stays really close to Steiner.
What about Mackenzie?
I roll over at the direction I saw the spider and pull out the 22 millimeter and unload.
Okay, you can roll your attacks as well. Because you can't see, like normally you'd get 2 dice, but you're only going to get 1 because you can't see. And how many dice did you roll, Marquise?
I rolled 1, but since the flashlight was on, should I roll 2?
Yeah, you could roll a second one just to see and take it out.
Holy shit. Okay, that's a 2.
I rolled a 2.
Okay. And also, there's another spider jumping on the doctor as he runs for the door. Oh, and that's going to be a 6. So, Doctor, this golden retriever-sized spider like tackles you to the ground and lands on top of you and bites you on the side of the neck from behind.
Fuck.
You feel the fangs enter you, and you feel like heat, almost like acid being poured into your body.
I'm screaming and crying.
Mm-hmm. You guys rolled 2, so you both clearly missed the spiders you're shooting at it. Steiner lights the lantern, and you can see again. And there's the one spider on the ground, kind of right in front of Mackenzie. There's the other spider right on top of the doctor's back. Like seems to be, it's clearly biting him, attacking him, and he's screaming. Now everybody roll initiative. 1d6, please.
That's a 4.
Spiders are on 6.
I got a 6.
So is Mackenzie. Washington's on 4. Wow, Riggy's on 6. And Dr. Steele.
Just 1 sec. That's a 6.
Fuck, so everybody's on 6 except for Washington. Wow.
This is racist.
Simultaneous. It's because you're black. Okay. So everything's going to happen simultaneously. I'll just roll the spider's attacks and get them out of the way, and then you can roll your attacks. So the spider on top of the doctor is going to try to bite him again. But this time it misses as he's struggling. The other spider is going to try to attack Mackenzie again. And this time it gets a 5, which is we're just going to call that a wound anyway. So it leaps up and it latches itself onto you. And it's like biting into your upper arm. So I'll just go across the screen. Actually, I'm going to let Riggy go first. Riggy?
Yeah, he would like to, while he's in darkness, or was, and then he turned on the light, he's going to try to Garrett choke Steiner.
Try to Garrett choke him, you said?
Yep, with the strap around one of the old tape recorders.
Nice. Okay. Roll your attack. It's probably going to be 1d6 because you're not a combat character, but a 6. Okay, well that will be enough to choke him to unconsciousness at the very least. So you take him down, you Garrett him, and he's like, he's struggling, and he goes down pretty quick. You just cut his air supply off completely, and he goes unconscious.
That solves one problem.
Mackenzie.
All right, falling over with the spider taking a bite on my arm, I just unleash.
You can roll 2d6 now since you can see again.
I got a 6.
Okay, you kill the spider as it's on you, but you fucking put the gun right up against it and pull the trigger a couple of times and blow it to pieces. Dr. Steele.
I'll kind of madly reach for the knife that I took with me, and I'll take it out, and then I'll mutter the words Veritas Vitae and try and stab the thing.
Roll a d6.
Let's see how it goes. It's 2.
Okay, you miss, unfortunately. And Tommy.
Well, seeing the spider on the only person here who has a look of goddamn sense, I raise my gun and I try to blow the spider off his body. And that is a whole... I'm sorry, Lloyd. That is a 1.
Did you roll 2 dice or just 1?
Oh, wait, sorry, I only rolled 1. Oh, you got lucky. Oh, it's a 3.
It's a 3? Okay, so you just graze it and don't really harm it. So next round, let's all roll initiative again, please. D6.
Five.
5 was on 1.
Got a 4.
And Riggy got a 4 as well, I take it? I see that 4 there. Okay, so this time, Tommy, you go first.
Alright, well, seeing that I grazed this thing, but I gotta kill it because I gotta get off Dr. Stein and so I Dr. Steele real quick. So I start shooting at it again with another unload, and I have a 2.
Yeah, that's a miss. You rolled twice, yeah? 2 dice?
Holy shit! I'm sorry. I'm stupid.
That's okay.
Okay, that's a 6 this time.
Okay, yeah, you kill it then. You want to describe it as you blasted the icky bits on top of the doctor?
So it's like biting on his neck, and it starts biting on the ground around him. I'm gonna run up. I'm gonna slam my foot down to his thorax. I'm just gonna start shooting. I mean, basically, I want to. I want to take care not to shoot Doctor Steele, but I really don't give a fuck if he gets shot in the first place because his dumbass ran away from him when I told him not to. So there's just like acid and blood and gore, green guts and shit just splattering all over him as I'm shooting it. And then even though I know it's dead, I drop the magazine, put another one in there, and I unload my second to last magazine into this dead corpse of Spider.
Oh, okay, so you got one magazine left. Excellent. So Dr. Steele, I guess you can spend the round basically getting up and trying to wipe spider goo off of you. Or do you have other plans?
The bite, how, like, I'm guessing it's already like raised and stinging.
Oh yeah, it's bad.
Oh god.
There's definitely venom involved.
Okay. And there's no kind of doctor around here, and the doctor was like way back at the start of the journey.
Oh yeah, several hours back to the village.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, it looks like I'm not getting out of here alive. So I will stand up, already feeling a bit sweaty. Whew. It bit me.
And as you stand up, you see Riggy doing what? You've choked the doctor down to the ground.
And I'm lifting his body and I'm heading into the temple.
Okay, you're gonna keep him alive?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You see Riggy standing up and putting the body of Dr. Steiner over his shoulder.
Did he get bitten too?
You could say that.
And Mackenzie, you've also been bitten, and your arm is swelling and pulsing and burning.
Does it make a difference that mine was a 5 and his was a 6?
Yeah, it might take you a couple extra hours to die.
Where did it bite me on the arm?
Right around the bicep.
I'd pull out a knife and begin to cut my arm off.
Man, that'd be pretty intense to try to cut your arm off with a knife.
Yeah, no joke. I just start.
Okay. You see Mackenzie start cutting into his arm and he's screaming. Roll a d6 for me there, Andrew.
3.
Oh, man, you're cutting and it hurts so bad eventually. You just have to stop.
I'm gonna pour scotch on it.
Okay. Like once you get down to the bone and you've like ruined the arm now, your left arm's completely useless. You've cut through the muscle, through the tendons, but you get to the bone and it starts to saw and the pain is so bad you just can't continue. You feel yourself losing blood and getting weak.
I'll yell at Tommy. Tommy, help me! We gotta take the arm off.
And I walk up there and I cover my mouth and I see all this blood and my hand is trembling and shakily I put away the gun and I pick the knife up off the ground and I said, listen, Flips, I don't know what I'm doing, man. What the fuck, man? What the hell?
You gotta do it, man. This is your chance. Look on the bright side. You fuck up, you just kill another white guy. Start sawing.
I don't want to kill a white guy when I'm surrounded by nothing but brown skin engines, man. And man, I grab his arm and I'm beginning to cry now because I may be a Black Panther, but holy shit, this is fucked up.
Yeah, this is really disgusting. And he's cut through so bad. I mean, he looks like he's in danger of bleeding to death probably in less than an hour anyway.
We gotta tie the wound, man. We don't got nothing to tie it, man. What am I supposed to do, man?
Dr. Steele, how are you reacting to all this?
So I was bitten in the neck.
Yeah, you were.
Right, so I can't really cut that out.
Yeah, it might be kind of fatal.
Yeah, I probably won't cut that off. Well, I know I'm going to die.
You feel your body temperature rising.
Yeah. So I'll God. I'll turn to Washington and I'll say, I'm not going to make it, Washington. I've been bitten in the neck.
What do you mean you're not gonna make it, Doc? What?
I can feel the poison.
Oh, why didn't you just listen? Why did you run away from him, man?
It's funny, I was so terrified and now I'm filled with calm, serenity.
Fucking white people, man. It's supposed to be an easy job. Gonna make 5-6 grand, put my kids through college. Now this motherfucker ain't got no arm. You're gonna die, man. Where's Reggie at, man? Where's he at?
Pull yourself together, Tommy. You gotta take the arm off. We're losing time.
Fucking. I take the knife. I just start stabbing and hacking away at the arm, just sobbing as I do.
Okay. Riggy, did you just walk on, or are you going to turn back to all this racket, or?
Walking on.
Okay, Riggy just keeps walking on into the temple. Do you guys have any plan to, like, stop the bleeding once you hack his arm off?
I'm gonna douse it in alcohol and then tie it off with my shirt and just go.
Okay.
When I start feeling faint enough that I'm not able to move, let me know.
Oh, don't worry, I'll let you know. Don't worry.
Man, Doc, are you sure it might just be one of them spiders that paralyze you? I mean, it might not be one of the killing kind. I mean, they're all big and ugly, so you can't really know.
It's true, it could be one of those, but I feel like if it's evolved to be that enormous, I feel like the venom is probably fatal.
Flips, give me that scotch.
I take a large drink and just throw the bottle at you.
I catch it, and I just down the entire bottle right then and there.
Oh, man.
I turn back to Steele and I say, "Me and you only got one chance, Dr. Steele. We gotta get back to Ooga Booga. We gotta find the medicine man."
I don't think we're going to make it back to Gabuga. I don't think we're making it anywhere. I would like to see the sun again before I die, though. I don't want to die in this place.
Well, this Cold War just got fucking hot. And I'm gonna pull back the slider on my gun with my teeth.
Oh, man. Yeah, your arm's off just below the shoulder. It's tied off with some strips of clothing or whatever, and you poured a bunch of alcohol in it, but yeah, you're still losing blood.
I got a couple hours max, boys. We gotta get moving.
Moving where, man?
Riggy, you've come into a large, irregular-shaped chamber. It's been crudely constructed from large stones. There are veins, weeds, and fungi outlining the stones, giving it an overgrown appearance. In the chamber, there are 7 load-bearing pillars. Each of them is fashioned out of some kind of dark gray marble with lavender and magenta veins. Several tentacles are etched out in relief upon every pillar, although it's unclear as to what those tentacles belong to. Upon one entire wall of the chamber is a massive carving of some hideous creature. It appears insectoid, octopoidal, and draconic all at the same time. Men are depicted as a tenth of the thing's size, a few of which are being lifted off the ground by its massive tentacles. It clearly dominates the artwork and is meant to be impressive. You can tell painstaking work has gone into detailing the creature's scales, suckers, and its less identifiable aspects. The eyes dance in the torchlight. There are embedded in the eyes 7 semi-transparent cloudy blue stones with tiny sparkling specks. Each of them is the size of a man's palm. The crumpled skeletal remains of some long-dead priest reside on the edge of the chamber near the mural. His bony hand grips a ceremonial dagger. It looks extremely old, and given the age of this place, you figure it must be, but it looks to be in excellent condition.
So I'll limp over there and I'll take out the dagger that I have and I'll compare them. More cult stuff.
I'll take that. Thank you very much.
Yeah, Riggy's there first, so pick up the dagger.
The dagger. The altar's nearby, right?
No, there was no altar. There's the 7 pillars, and then there's this mural on the wall of this creature with the 7 eyes.
So the dagger was near the priest who was up against the mural?
Yeah, he's like leaning against the wall.
Or is he leaning? Like, is there, like, what's the print on against the wall?
What do you mean? Like, is he leaning against the print itself?
Yeah, like, is he leaning against a particular part of the mural?
Oh, well, it'd be the bottom of it, you know, kind of the lower, has almost like dragon-like legs.
Alright. So there's nothing on the bottom of the mural? Like where the priest is down because he had a ceremonial dagger right there? Was his back prop up against it, or was it faced forward?
No, his back was against it. You don't see anything else on the mural, no.
Okay.
But those 7 stones sure look enticing.
Sure. Still burying Dr. Steiner's body. Unplug one of the stones if I can.
As you reach up and touch the stone, it starts to illuminate. And so does one of the pillars. It sends out a barely audible vibration like a muffled tuning fork of a constant tone and frequency. And this is about when the other guys come walking into the room, actually.
Start pressing all the stones.
You press another stone, the other one goes off, and then this one emits its own tune briefly, and then goes out. As you mess around with touching the different stones, you guys can see this. Every time he touches a stone, you know, the stone will light up. Usually it just lights up for a split second and then goes back off again. But as it does, the veins in the statue almost glow like a blue light emanating from, not the statues, from the pillars, emanate, you know, like a blue light emanating from within the pillars themselves as the stone eyes glow when you touch them. Eventually, when you go back to touching the other one first, you notice it stays lit and the hum remains. And then you touch another one, it goes out. And you just kind of experiment until eventually you realize you can touch that one, and then you touch this one, like the 3rd one and the 7th one, and then both remain lit and humming. And then you touch a 3rd one, and then it all goes off again. So you realize there's some kind of a strange, like if you touch them in the right order, they remain lit.
So walking into the room, I'll see this carving.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be like, perhaps some sort of kraken. Definitely a sea beast. Tentacles like that. Though it's unfamiliar to me.
Definitely a kraken. And a communist.
Dear God, you telling me the Russians have a kraken?
They did much experimenting with mutations and...
These 2 guys do not look good when they come in, Riggy. Flip's arm is missing, and he's got a bloody rag of a shirt in where it used to be. And Duncan looks to be running a high fever, sweating profusely. And Tommy, well, he just looks freaked the fuck out.
And drunk as shit.
Yeah, he also just chugged a half a bottle of scotch.
So I'd like to attempt to figure out the pattern. Because I've done fake broadcasting puzzles before, like decoding messages and things.
Sure.
Back in my day, so.
As you do so, eventually you figure it out, and it takes you several minutes, but you figure out the order to touch them in. 3rd eye, 7th eye, 1st eye, 4th eye, 2nd eye, 6th eye, and finally the 5th. And as you do so, every time you touch one, you know, the eyes glow and the pillars glow with that lavender magenta hue, like a blue light lighting from within their marble exterior. It's the actual veins around them that glows. And at this point, reality melts away. You find yourself suddenly, it is almost like reality just melts away around you. It feels like fire screaming and shadow devouring everything virtuous and pure and comprehensible as you find yourself surrounded by darkness. And then as the darkness disappears, you're standing in a cavern. And ahead of you, you see a sandy beach.
See where we're going, Mr. Stanner? And make sure I give him another conk on the head to make sure he's out.
And as we walk through the shadow of the valley of death, and I start walking out and everything, brandishing my gun. He's trying to say the prayer, but he can't really get it out. So he turns back to Sil and he says, You still able to walk to and fro?"
Barely.
Yeah, get on my back, white boy. You know, a panther can carry a ghost real easy.
As you walk up the beach, you see a rocky bottleneck ahead. If you walk up the bottleneck about 40 or 50 feet up, then you'll see, there's a little stream there, and it leads to an underground lake. I'd like all of you to roll a d6.
5.
4.
1.
3.
You see 4 bodies on the beach. They look oddly familiar.
I ignore them and oh wait, on the beach of this underground lake?
Yes.
Okay, what do they look like?
You walk closer and examine them closer.
Mm-hmm.
Realize that they are in fact the 4 of you. They're your own dead bodies.
Does that body have an arm?
Actually, Flips, strangely enough, the body of Flips is missing his right arm instead of his left.
What kind of commie
Is my
back-ass
spider
sorcery
bite
is this?
What'd you say, Duncan?
Is my spider bite on the same side?
No, you don't have a spider bite, apparently.
Mm.
Your body is missing the spider bite. If you look closer, he seems to have died from drowning, but he also has blunt force trauma on his head.
I go and I look at mine. Is there anything strange about my body?
Yeah. The ring that you wear on your left hand is on the right hand.
I shoot this dead body just once.
Okay. Nothing happens. It still
Okay.
stays dead.
Sir. I'm suddenly sober. Not super sober, but my head is coming out the haze. I see this, and I look up the steel and I say, "Doctor."
I've never seen anything like this before.
What were you going to say, Ricky?
So I take the 2 recordings from earlier, from what the tribes were shouting out, start playing them. As I do, I take the sacrificial dagger and I slit the wrist of Steiner. I let the blood start dripping into the water. See what happens.
What the fuck are you doing?
Just an experiment, kid.
These chants are just like reverberating through the entire cavern and echoing out over the underground lake. I want everybody to roll a d6.
What? What are you doing? Flips, shoot him.
5 again.
He's a commie. He's a cultist.
2.
Flips got 6. Okay,
Yeah.
I need Flips and Tommy each to roll another d6 now.
That's a 4.
4 also.
You both faint.
He's laying flat on the ground next to him because I was on his back.
Oh, were you?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm gonna try and grab
Right.
for his gun. That's my main attempt here.
Okay. Yeah, you can take it, no problem. He's unconscious as all hell. He won't be awake for several minutes.
Ricky, what the fuck are you doing? Are you involved in this shit? Is that why you came here? Do you know about this?
How much of his blood are you going to let pour into the lake?
As much of it as I can.
Okay. He'll bleed to death.
You're not answering me now.
Uh, Sorry, Sonny. Just need to make sure something works like I intended it. And I toss it into the water.
Yep. Toss his body into the water.
I'm gonna shoot him.
You shoot Riggy?
Yeah.
Okay.
What the fuck
Roll
is he
1d.
doing? Like?
You can roll 1d6.
All right, here we go. It's a 1.
Oh, it's a 1.
Shoot myself in the spider bite.
Not only could you hit the broadside of a barn, but your opponent can immediately counter, taking some sort of reflexive action or attack of opportunity. Are you armed, Ricky?
I have a battery I could toss at him.
It's up to you what you want to do. He's just shot at you anyway and missed horribly. And he's standing there looking in shock at the gun. And
5?
okay, so you throw a battery at him. You knock him unconscious with this giant ass camera battery or recorder battery. Boop, and he goes down. Now the three of them are all unconscious on the beach.
Is the voices still picking up?
Yeah, they're still echoing around, but nothing seems to be happening. I don't know if you're looking for some kind of a magical effect, but nothing seems to have occurred. It's creepy as all hell, though. Okuta, Nafu. It's echoing all over the place. You can
Turn
see
it off.
dead bodies on the beach, all drowned. Some of them with blunt force trauma on their heads. Actually, one of them you see even has blunt force trauma on the body as well.
So I basically stop the recordings and I start pushing the bodies into the water.
Just the dead ones, or did you push your
The dead ones.
Okay, we're just checking. Okay, you push them all out into the water. And they all start to kind of just float back towards the beach. And you figure, that the water is pushing that way onto the beach, so you figure they must have washed ashore here from... They didn't die on the beach anyway.
Well, this was disappointing. I thought I was going to get myself the scoop of a century.
Not yet, my friend, not yet.
Modeling.
What do you want to do with your unconscious companions? Do we wait for them to wake up?
He ignores him and he rips off his shirt, leaves his recording equipment at the beach, and he starts swimming.
Okay. As you're swimming out, you can hear like a roaring sound in the distance. And as you swim out further and further, you realize it sounds like a waterfall. And sure enough, you swim out far enough, although it's actually pitch black. What are you using for light?
Nothing.
Right, so you can't see. Eventually you get into pure blackness, but you can feel the way the water's moving, and you know there's a waterfall ahead of you.
I start shouting the chants, and I go straight into it.
Okay. When you get to it, you're buffeted by the water pretty heavily and pushed back away from it. There's a lot of rocks here, too, you realize.
Mm-hmm.
You probably bang and scrape yourself against some of the rocks. But you're pushed pretty forcefully away from the waterfall. It's very hard to try and swim into it from the force of it. It's very strong.
Mm-hmm. Well, that was disappointing. Goes and he swims back.
Yeah, you get back there still unconscious, although Tommy is starting to show signs of movement.
Hey, up, kid. Start poking him.
You're waking up, Tommy, whether you want to or not.
Alright, so as he's poking me, I'm just like, Mary, stop it. And I swat at him, very weakly, and my eyes open, and then suddenly all the crazy bullshit that's been happening hits me all at once, and I shoot up, and I go up too fast, and I fall back to my knees and start throwing up in the sands.
Yeah, you know how you ever fall asleep when you're drunk and then wake up shortly after and you're like instantly hungover?
I know that feeling very well.
Yeah, that's how you feel right now.
So, head pounding, throw up on my knees and in the sand. I look around and Doc, ew, Doc, and I start shaking the Doc's body, see if he gets up or anything.
He's got your gun in his hand,
The fuck?
and Mackenzie's starting to stir.
Yo, Riggy, what happened, man? And I take the gun out Doctor's hand. Riggy,
Yeah.
what happened, dude?
Communists.
Why are you
We were attacked.
attacked?
Scoop of the century, I tell you.
I don't think there's fucking communists down here, dude. We don't live in the 50s. There's no fucking Red Scare anymore. And I stand up and I kind of use the Doctor's head to push myself up off the ground.
Okay.
There's red everywhere, Tommy. Don't think that for a second. There's red everywhere.
That'll be enough to wake you up too, Duncan, as he kind of pushes himself up off your body.
And then I'll just throw up.
Why'd you go crazy, Doctor? Why you gotta shoot me?
First, you guys realize that your bodies aren't there, and then you realize that they're just kind of like at the edge of the water now, just kind of slowly being lapped up onto the beach.
He killed the Doctor. Some sort of evil shit.
And you guys see then too, yeah, there's a fifth body in the water, and that's Dr. What was his name? I keep forgetting his name.
Steiner.
Yeah, Dr. Steiner.
He was bleeding him into the water.
Riggy. And I stand up fully, the gun's shaking in my hand. Riggy, what the fuck are you doing?
Suitable end, wasn't it? Basket bastard.
Are you saying that you're the hero that stopped the communists here?
What I'm saying is that bastard did something to Elliot Jasper that I will never forgive him for.
Doctor, he killed the communists. We gotta get out of here, man. We can't dawdle any longer, dude. We gotta move on.
But he killed them. And could have bled him into the water.
There's the obvious sacrificial dagger with blood in it. He just kind of holds behind his back.
Riggy. Yo, Flips, you up yet?
You have to stop him.
You're staring at one of the walls, and you see there's a small opening in it, and you can hear a little sound of like whistling of air coming from there.
Riggy, how good are you with your hands?
Pretty damn good, and he twirls the sacrificial dagger.
He can
Are you a cultist?
I need enough of that. Who cares? I need your help, Riggy. And I hold out my stump. I need you to take out the bandage, and I want you to try to tie the veins together.
He wants you to perform surgery, basically, to stop it bleeding.
You're speaking mad, Flips. You're speaking mad, dude.
You do know I'm a radio broadcaster, correct?
I got no choice, man. It's like tying ropes together. Just look for the ropes and tie it in a knot.
Oh well, it's just like my days in the war.
He's a warlock.
Steel,
Wow.
I think the poison's getting to your head. Steel, come get on my back, man. We'll make it out together. You got a wife and kids, man.
Trying to help Mackenzie real quick. There we
I'm
go.
not gonna make it.
You're gonna fucking make it! And I slap you in the face. You're gonna fucking make it!
I go unconscious again.
I'm going to need you to roll 2d6 and take the lowest one there on that, Riggy. Because you don't have any training in this, and you're in horrible conditions for doing as well. Okay, a 4. So a 4 still, I think, is a sort of success.
Should I kind of use the dagger and kind of wedge like some of the
partial
flesh around?
success. Yeah, you can delay his death by a little bit longer.
Best I can do.
Why would he have the knife?
He fucking killed the doctor. Who fucking cares? We gotta go see our kids!
That's good, Riggy. That's good. I can feel it. You're saving me, Riggy.
I do what I can. Big scoop.
Eventually, Mackenzie passes out from the pain. You
Great.
can wake him up shortly after you finish the procedure.
Had him on the cheek. Mackenzie.
Not now.
Yeah, your
Mackenzie.
arm is on fire. Even though there's no arm there, it's on fire. You know that phantom limb syndrome? You have a phantom limb of a burning arm.
Mackenzie, you got a beautiful big old southern woman waiting for you back home, Mackenzie. I saw her. She was down in the bar at the hotel, right? She's yours. Think of her, Mackenzie. Think of her.
I puke. I get up. I force myself up.
See? Love conquers all. A true story indeed. And flips Mackenzie.
Riggy, shut the fuck up! And he turns back to the doctor and is like, say my name! Say my motherfucking name!
And then I start speaking in this weird language that nobody understands.
My name is not Bunga Bunga, damn it, still! Say it! Say it so we can leave!
Tommy!
Tommy, that's fucking it! And Tommy's gonna take you to see your fucking wife on Panther fucking Pride! And I stand up and I literally throw you over my shoulder and I start running towards that hole in the wall.
Okay.
Let's get our asses out of here, Mackenzie. And I
You're good with me, Riggy. I got your back. And I pull out my 40.
And I hold the arm with the 40, and it has the sacrificial knife like right next to his shoulder blade with how I'm supporting you up, so I'm just holding you while holding the knife to your back. And he's holding the gun to mine.
You guys shamble off after Tommy and Duncan?
Yep.
Okay. You come into another cave, Tommy. This cave is full of grayish-green, star-shaped organic matter with electric blue pulsating veins. Each one is about the size of a beanbag chair. Most of them seem to be huddled in the northeast corner of this cavern. You stare at them for more than a few seconds at a time. They'll show subtle movements once in a while, as if like breathing every few seconds or something.
Doctor, and I kind of turn around so the doctor can look up at him. What the fuck are these?
You can also see, although it's too dark, you can't see where it goes, but you can also continue to hike upwards through this cavern if you wish, beyond the star-like things.
Would I have any idea what they are? No.
They look like gigantic sea stars, but they're like grayish-green and
Okay.
pulsating.
With my cryptozoology, could I try and attempt and figure it
No, not
No.
really.
Okay.
No.
out? Cool. I've never seen anything like this. Some sort of deep-sea creature. Perhaps.
Then fuck it, we're running even further! And I start running down the new tunnel.
Okay, as you're running, you do notice the group of star things surrounding, up in the northeast corner, they're surrounding an off-white looking tube on the ground.
I ain't investigating shit. I'm running through the tunnel with a dude on my back.
It's fine. You guys, as you kind of stagger up behind them, you'll also see that.
Keep going.
Slowly breathing star creatures. You see the white tube.
I just tell Riggy, man, the Russians can't get their hands on this. This is just what they need to get the edge on us in the space program. They can't let them have it.
Don't worry, buddy. I won't get their greasy, grubby Russian hands on any of this.
Okay. You guys are going to hike upwards for about a good half an hour until you reach a new kind of cave. One side of it is the start of a very fast-flowing river. You see a yellow inflatable raft on the beach next to the water. You also see that you can continue along the edge of the water deeper into the cavern if you wish.
I start sloshing through the water, and I, as gingerly as I can, throw the doctor's body into the raft.
Okay. Throw the doctor's body into the raft.
And I start screaming for the other two, "Get your white asses over here! We found our ticket back to safety!"
Okay. What do you guys do as you stagger up and see him howling about this yellow raft he's found? The doctor's been hurled unceremoniously into.
Don't worry, we're going as fast as we can, and I trip Mackenzie over into the raft.
Okay. You guys can get into the raft as well? Start going down the river. Okay, you all get into the raft. Start going down the river.
Do we have paddles?
No.
Shit.
It quickly turns into rapids, and you can hear a roaring, rushing sound up ahead.
Hang on tight, boys.
Oh
man, I can't hold on.
The image of 4 waterlogged bodies flashes through your mind on a beach as you advance rapidly towards the waterfall ahead.
No. We have to get out.
Get the fuck out! And I grab the doctor and I jump into the water.
I'm going to need you guys all to roll d6s. Again.
I got it too.
I got a 5.
Okay.
To swim, I think I should roll 2 and pick the lesser.
Okay, you're not a good swimmer?
Well, I mean, I'm nearly dead.
Okay.
It's 2 6s. Unreal.
Okay.
I'm a great
Two
swimmer.
sixes? Wait, did you want to do 2 6s or 1 6?
Are you proficient in swimming?
I mean, I don't know. I'm just a cop. Let's be honest.
No, just 1d6. 1d6.
Alright.
Lloyd was rolling 2 and taking a lesser, so that was more like a disadvantage. But you wouldn't get 2d for swimming through rapids, over a waterfall, down into rocks, and then into a lake below.
Turns
I got
out
it too.
the doctor
I
in
don't
his
think
youth
any
was
of you
actually,
guys are proficient in that.
he was actually on the Olympic team in his youth.
Well, it served him well. Because the doctor manages, you go over and you hit the rocks below, and it hurts like hell. You guys take some serious bruising and wounds from the rocks at the base of this waterfall. Tommy, you hit the rocks, you crack your head open, and you start to go dizzy, and you think of your family, and you lose consciousness.
Marie.
You guys all wash up on the beach. You all wash up on the beach, and you're back in that underground lake cavern that you were in earlier where you found your bodies. Except the bodies are not here now. It's just the 4 of you. Tommy is not breathing.
No. Tommy is another bitch. Slap him in the face. No, Tommy! We're going to get out of this. We're going to go back. We're going to sit on my porch. We're going to drink lemonade, damn it.
Damn it, Duncan! Why'd you let him get in the water? We both know you never met a brother that could swim.
He has wounds consistent with the wounds that you saw earlier on the beach. Blunt trauma on his ribs and head. He's completely waterlogged and drowned. He's dead.
Oh my god.
Can you define dead for me?
You're dead, Tommy. Dead. Dead of
Yeah.
well, you're dead of drowning, but you took some pretty serious beating too on the rocks. It was
Whoa.
the 2 on the swimming check that did it.
This will come in handy. And he grabs Tommy and throws him over his shoulder.
What the How will that come in handy?
Put him down! What are you doing?
Experiment.
No! I've had enough of your fucking experiments. You're a monster.
The only monster here, my dear doctor, is communism.
Fuck's sake.
He's right, Steele. You know it. You always known it.
This is not about communism.
I'm not the one with the name that sounds like a comic book villain. Dr. Steele.
Rigging the fucking guffins?
The name's Rigger MacGuffins. Better say it right. The name of freedom.
You're full of shit. And you're involved in this cult stuff somehow. And I'm not going any further with you.
Damn it, Steele. Academia has made you weak. Can't you see
I'm gonna
it?
try and pull out my knife and stab him.
Okay. I'm gonna have you roll a disadvantage because you're
Yeah,
weak.
absolutely.
And you're you're feverish, and you're seeing two of them. Holy shit!
Nice knowing you, kids.
I am a golden god.
You stab him right through the throat.
Oh god.
Notice I kept him alive.
Shit. So you're witnessing this, Mackenzie, as he drives his knife into MacGuffin's throat. MacGuffin drops Washington to the ground, and he's gurgling. His life's blood is pouring out of him.
He might as well have pulled out a sickle and a hammer as far as I'm concerned. I lever the gun at his head and plink.
Roll your attack.
3s.
3s are a miss, I believe.
Grace.
Yeah. It's a failure, partial failure. Could have been a lot worse, but you didn't get the result you wanted. It's not even a graze. You miss him completely. Well, close.
Flips, no. We're in this together. He was a cultist. He killed the doctor. And he was gonna do things.
He was a
Tommy
great American man. He was a great American.
An American. We gotta get out of here.
Only one of us are getting out of here, man. And I level the gun and take another shot.
Okay, roll.
5.
Oh yeah, that's gonna hit. What is that? A 5? Oh yeah, 3 was okay. Sorry, that's actually right. A 5, you take him out. He's incapacitated. He's not quite dead, but he's bleeding and unconscious, and yeah, he's dying.
He gets me through the cheek.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Fight Club style.
Yeah.
Flips. I walk over. I hobble over to him. I lower the gun down, shaking over his head.
Try
Pull
and
the
stab
trigger
him in
again.
the foot.
You can't. You're incapacitated, Lloyd.
Oh,
Sorry.
okay. I thought it was just shot. Okay.
No, you're incapacitated. You try. The will is there, but you just can't move your arm.
Okay.
Do I roll to shoot him while he's laying there?
No. He's unconscious. You can just coup de grace him. Well, he's incapacitated.
I shoot his head, and you just see this huge blob of blood shoot out, and everything turns red. And I fall to my knees. And why? Why? And start pounding my fist on the ground.
Nice.
I turn around and I drag myself with my stub just through the wet sand over to Riggy's body. Riggy! I shake him.
Notice he was holding the sacrificial dagger in one hand, and under it was a note. And in that note, it was the Star Spangled Banner written out.
The bluest tear on this white island just falls from it. I get up and I look around my consciousness waning in and out.
Mm-hmm.
And I hold up the gun and place it to the side of my head and pull the trigger.
Okay.
Jesus
I think that will conclude this playtest.
We did it, guys. We got to the end.
Of the Outer Presence. Well, you guys made your own end.
Nailed it.
Remember, kids, the real outer realm Cthulhu-like threat is communism. And the only way to defeat communism is abandonment of all human dignity whatsoever in the name of patriotism. Zealotry is a good thing.
We'll do a bit of an outro now. If you guys just all go one at a time, and you can say whatever you want to say about the adventure, the game itself, and if you want to plug yourself again or say anything else. Andrew, you go ahead. Go first this time.
I'd like to add, when I pull the trigger, you hear the squawk of an eagle. And there's a dither into the American flag. I thought the game was fun. It was really crazy with the D6s, but I enjoyed it. It was simple, not a lot to worry about. I enjoyed those guys as characters. So.
What about you, Chepe?
10 out of 10. Patriotism is better than communism. Channel Fon Trodden, One Shot Group, RPG W3, RPG Brigade, all that stuff, all that schnaz. And yeah, I'm good. I'm pretty satisfied.
Lloyd?
Yeah, I really liked it. I think like the kind of scale of success is pretty cool. I like that. It's really simple, which is great. I'm very pro that, and cool adventure as well. Yeah, cool.
Never even reached the climax.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I think we barely got into it.
Yeah, you guys were like 1 or 2 rooms away.
Okay.
What about you, Marquise? Anything you want to say about your first Cthulhu experience?
It was everything I expected. I really enjoyed it. The adventure, the characters, all that. Just as a warning, everyone, I'm half black, so I'm not actually racist. Just putting that out there right now because I realized I played a really stereotypical Black Panther character. But yeah, I love the game. Would play again. Like the D6 is pretty enjoyable. 10 out of 10.
Cool. Yeah, just a little bit of insight anyway on the actual game itself. That we didn't, since we didn't get quite to the end. The raft. Obviously, that was why you found the 4 bodies washed up, drowned on the beach. If you had kind of thought about it maybe a little bit beforehand, you might realize, okay, if we get on this raft and you know, there's this fast-flowing river, you'd found these bruised and waterlogged bodies on the beach. You might have thought, especially since you were walking about a half an hour upwards to get to this new room. But if you had gone on the other way along the water, you would have moved on to the next room in the adventure, which was the mist-shrouded bridge. And in there, well, you'd have encountered the Guardian, you'd have encountered Vanessa Hargrave, who's into her 3rd trimester of pregnancy. And then beyond that, you would have reached the Inner Sanctum, which is where you would encounter basically the Outer Presence itself. And then there's a couple of different ways it can go from there, just depending on what you all do. But yeah. So it's pretty close. I'd probably run it again. I don't know if I'll run it in the same system. I might try to run it in like a Fate system or something, or maybe run it on Cthulhu or something. But yeah, to see how it translates.
I honestly think it's too hard to die in Fate.
Yeah.
Your characters are too heroic to some extent, It's like you have all these stress boxes and stuff, and you don't really take damage the same way. So I think you need something that's a bit more lethal.
This is pretty lethal, isn't it? You got a 1 in 6 chance of dying every time.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, cool. Well, thanks for playing.
This you should put a disclaimer on this game, Ian. It's probably one of your most offensive games.
Yeah. Let's just say some things were said this game that should probably have not been said, but we've already crossed that bridge.
I'll put an 18 plus on it. Don't worry. It's on private at the moment anyway. So, all right. Well, thanks for playing. That's it.